Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. We are live. Welcome to the Elite Podcast, episode 30, episode 30, episode 30. Yankee voice, Island voice, So, welcome. Hope everybody doing well. Hope everybody being safe on this Labor Day weekend. Everybody just be safe, be careful. A lot of people be driving drunk and stuff like that. So everybody just be safe, man. Safety is number one. Safety is number one. So everybody who tuning in and everybody who be tuning in, you guys just welcome and thanks for your support. Thanks to you guys for tuning in to support Hayden Wills. So I'll go ahead right get to it. Our guest is here. He's in the backstage. Tiga won't make it today and Pang won't make it today. So I'm solo dolo today. But we gotta keep it going and everything. So, big up to Dwayne. Big up, much love. So I'll go ahead and get my shout outs out of the way. And these shout outs is just people who, from the VI, from the Virgin Islands itself, doing their own thing, doing their own business and stuff like that. So it's always good to support your own people and stuff like that. The term these times, these times with the Black Lives Matter and all that different stuff, everybody talk about supporting black businesses and this and that and stuff like that. So we just shouting out our own people who doing some good stuff, business and doing it on their own. So first of all, we want to big up Legends 340, legends340.com. We got Savory Eats LLC in Orlando by Sheena Fontaine. We got the Good Life Apparel. We got Andrea with the Melted Pot Cooking Class, and that's our Instagram, Melted Pot Cooking Class. Follow on Instagram, also meltedpotcookingclass.com. We have Sabone Caribbean Restaurant. We have Apollo Legion. We have follow on Instagram, Island Destiny 340 Serenity Braids by Nikki. We got Rico Canario. He was one of our former guests and stuff. He has a lot of rich history and sports in the Virgin Islands and also just history in the Virgin Islands itself. Also, Right Way Service Station located in Princess next to Avis. We got Paris Enterprise, big up to Dave Paris. I see Dave yesterday for the first time in maybe like 10, 15 years and stuff like that. So it was good to see the brother. He looking good. He looking shape. He look like he could go 10 rounds in a boxing match. But he looking good, man. So shout out to Dave. Salute to you, man. Paris Enterprise, big up. Follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports, Livewire Sports fan on page Facebook. I think I saw a post this Tuesday. They won't be live. I think you might have to go to Janelle Saro page. They're doing. I'm not sure because I don't really want to be too accurate on it, but I think they're doing something with the VI Sports. So I think Saro, Calvert White, Renee Hansen, Lorena, and a couple more people will be on. I guess it's going to be, a group thing talking about the sports. I'm not sure what they're going to be talking about, but, you guys could tune into that. We also have Midnight Entertainment. They got the new single, Bring Out the City, out on iTunes. Jacksonville Duval, big up. Frenchie, big up. We got Next Level Up Printing. We got OliviaDesire.com. We got Bubbles Promotion. We got follow on Facebook, Brino's Kitchen. They had the laptop giveaway. So salute to everybody who donated, who everybody that's supported and stuff like that. So big up, big up. Also, Mona Bands with follow on Facebook, City of Refuge Worship Center. They always live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. So you guys can always tune in. And if you guys need to get a word in, so I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody doing well at this Labor Day weekend and stuff like that. You guys know how it is, So, big up Rika, big up Carrion, big up everybody who tuning in and stuff like that. So, our previous guests, we had our Real Saki, amazing episode. I know Real from since I was like maybe 9, 10 years old, 11 years old on the baseball field. He was always on the baseball field playing man league, and he was always an amazing hitter. I never knew he played basketball. And I played with him when I was 14 years old when G-Nix created the team called Basics. He named the team Basics because he wanted to show the importance of basics it takes in baseball. If you just stick to the basics and respect the game and the fundamentals, you will succeed and stuff like that. So he named the team Basics. And Riel and a couple other elders G-Nix brought to guide us, because most of us was teenagers, 14, 15, 16 years old playing in my league. So that's when I played with Riel. And then Riel's son was there for a few times, So that's how I met his son. and he reminded me when I talked to him. But it was just amazing. It was an amazing interview honoring, celebrating Real Saki. You could tell he knows so much about sports, and he's like a encyclopedia. He just have like a lot of knowledge, and you could tell he's just an excellent coach, and he's doing something special because even though he's not coaching the kids, he still welcome them to practice with the team, and that's something that's important. If you're in sports, if you could practice with different coaches, and especially coaches who's willing to work with you only gonna become a better athlete because you get knowledge from your personal coach and you get knowledge from other coaches and stuff like that. The more knowledge you get, the better of an athlete you're gonna become, a better of a person in life you're gonna become, and stuff like that. Because you get in knowledge from so many different people who have experienced so many different things in their lifetime and stuff like that. So everything that Real experienced in his life, he could share with somebody else, etc., and your coach and stuff like that. So that's something great he's doing. That's what a lot of kids up in Babylon do. They have their coach, but they also play with trouble ball teams. They also work out with somebody else. So they have knowledge from different avenues and different perspective and stuff like that. So, big up to Real Saki, man. Excellent interview. You was very honest with some of the stuff you did, and that's the most important thing as a human being is that if you could come to grips with the decisions you make and you face it and be honest with yourself, nothing else really matters. Once you honest with yourself and stuff like that, then everything will be good. Everybody's not perfect and stuff like that. But life goes on and he's doing a lot of good things and he's helping the youths. He's doing a lot. So much love, much respect to you, Real Saki. We definitely keep in contact and we definitely gonna make something happen for the youths them once this COVID is finished. Also, I want to shout out to everybody who texts me, who hits me up on Facebook and stuff like that, that gives me names that I could contact to interview. So I don't want to call the people their name because I haven't got their permission to mention their name. I'm not sure if they don't want their name mentioned or not. But if they're watching or if they watch this video, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the communication. I appreciate the history you're giving me and giving me the individual's name for me to get in contact with so we could celebrate them. There's so many people. It's amazing. It's overwhelming, but that's just how it is because we trying to piggyback on so many years of history and honoring the people them. So, it's just amazing. And thank you guys, everybody who always tune in every Wednesday, every Sunday, for supporting the Elite Podcast and stuff like that. So much love to all you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys, man. Honestly, much love to everybody. I can't stop repeating it because if it wasn't for you guys, we won't be getting these much guests and stuff like that. But it's always good that you guys support the guests them that coming on because as an athlete, when you're growing up, you make so much sacrifices that you spend so much time on the baseball field, soccer field, tennis court, basketball court, football field, the volleyball court, the cricket field, and the list goes on and on with all the many other sports and stuff like that. So sometimes it just feels good as an individual when somebody recognizes your accomplishments. It feels good as an individual to just to show love, man. It's always good to show love to everybody and stuff like that. So big up to Tiga, big up to Pang. You guys be safe out there, everybody be safe. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we have Rory Costello. I don't know Rory. I just met him a few weeks ago, and we're gonna be interviewing him. Rico mentioned him that he wrote the first VI book on baseball, so we're gonna have him on Wednesday. He knows a lot of the Virgin Islands players, and I know he's been in contact with some of the other players who tune in and watch the episodes. So it's gonna be like another history lesson. So I'm looking forward to that. And then on Sunday we have Mountain Akeem Francis. We have him on Sunday. So that's the next two guests coming up. And then we're gonna see. We might have to. I don't know. I'm thinking if I should change the Sunday to a different day. I don't know, but I would like to continue to do 2 times a week because we have so much people we like to honor and stuff. I have a list of people I want to get to. I want to touch on some coaches. I know last few episodes we've been going a little bit more elderly people. So now I'm kind of want to take it back to more of the young ones, starting with Akeem Francis. Hopefully I could get in contact with Jerome. I talked to him before, Jerome Gums, and get him on as well. I'd like to get in contact with, like Kevin Pickering, Deshaun Brooks, and some of the younger players, just to, switch it up and stuff like that. I still would like to get some more females on. It's been kind of difficult getting females on, so if you guys could get in contact with some of the females and stuff, we'd definitely like to have them on, So Richie, I supposed to contact Richie's mom. I haven't contacted her yet, but Richie gave me her number, so I definitely gonna contact her as well too. But much love to everybody. And then so let's get to it. We have our guest, Hayden Willis. Hayden Wills. Sorry for mispronouncing the last name. I'm the worst with names once again. Guys, I'm the worst with names. I'm telling you guys right now, pronouncing words and stuff like that. I'm not the best. I've never been the best. I never will be the best. But once I try, that's all that matters. But episode 30 episodes already. This is crazy. Episode 41 is Tegan. I'm most likely I probably gonna do my episode 50 or something like that. Probably like a milestone episode 50, half of the century mark. Probably I might just do that. But I definitely like to get some others that came before me. I like to pay respects to them. So we have Hayden Wills. I met him through this Elite Podcast, on Facebook. He's always been, checking out the interviews, his brother, same thing, play against his brother in Little League Baseball. Shout out to ESPS, Derek Wills. Shout out to George Bailey. Shout out to Terry Byron, all the SPS players, Jamal Young. Everybody, shout out to you guys. We was talking just off the stream, but I was just saying how much I used to be afraid to play ESPS in Little League, because these guys were just so good and I was just so young, but I met him through that. And someone mentioned to me he was the first professional soccer player coming out of the Virgin Islands, coming out of St. Croix, so it's gonna be an honor. It's just gonna be a thrill to get to know him, to hear his story. He has a lot of history. He grew up playing soccer, and it's just amazing. He's the first guest that plays soccer that we interviewing. We honoring and celebrating. Every guest, I call him a legend. And the reason why I call him a legend is because once you do something and you're the first, or you do something that you inspire someone, you should be considered as a legend, because that's something that is going to carry on for the rest of your life. You might not be here to experience it, but it's going to carry on. It's going to carry on. Once you impact someone and they use what you impact them with, and they pass it on to the next generation, or they pass it on to the teammate, part of you is living on, and it's just going to continue going from decades to decades, to centuries to century, years, and stuff like that. So you guys just keep that in mind. And before I get Hayden on, I want you guys to know that make sure you guys always show appreciation to everybody, whatever they're doing. If I know, like right now we're doing sports and stuff like that, and the goal for this podcast was to branch off into doing people in business, people in music, in whatever avenue. We just want to show appreciation and everything. So guys, don't be afraid to tell people that you love them and show them appreciation. The reason being is because you guys seen in the last few weeks, we had like a lot of important people that passed away. We have John Thompson that just passed away. I'm drawing blank, but we had a few people. The guy from Black Panther passed away. The coach from Arizona, he passed away too. Again, I'm drawing blank just because I'm live, so I got to keep going. So it's important that you guys, tell people you love them, tell people how much they inspire you, show them appreciation for all the hard work they do, just because you just never know when it's their time to go and stuff like that. And you don't want to be like a lot of people giving people flowers after they passed away. Sometimes it's good for people to receive their flowers while they're here and not when they're resting in the dot, so much respect and much love and appreciation to everybody that passed away this year, that had an impact in so many people's lives. Condolences to everybody, family. Again, rest in peace to Harris Clark. Condolences to his family. Condolences to his whole family. So much love to the Clark family. He's been an inspiration in the Virgin Islands, and just much love, appreciation to Harris Clark once again. So you guys just keep that in mind. I will show love, spread love, spread love, definitely. So I'm not going to be talking too much longer. We're going to bring our guests in. Legendary soccer player from the Virgin Islands. I can't wait to hear his story and more. Let's welcome him, Hayden Wills.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
How you doing?
Good
Thank
man.
you,
Good
thank you,
man.
thank you. I like the fact that you're giving everybody the shout outs, and you're right, man. You have to show love to them people that they put the VI on the map, and they put us in a position for success. One thing I always try to foster with my players and my younger generations is don't ever be afraid to show love, man.
It's true.
Love is universal and it's a free. It's free. You don't have to pay a cent for it. And I was able to tell Horace Clark thanks a while back
Yeah.
for his knowledge and his what he did for me when I was playing baseball, because that's where my sports life really started. So I also found out that we lost another person in St. Croix, Mr. Luke Frederick from St. Mary's. And I want to send my condolences to that group of people, the St. Mary's family, Mr. Frederick family, because we are his family, man. We are his
Yeah.
family. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely condolences to the family, man. Condolences. You know.
But yeah, so it's tough. It's tough growing older because we end up losing them, man, that had the connections with us, that linked us, that gave us the skills, that taught us how to fish so we could go and bring food for the village. That's how I look at it with sports. It's the same thing. They gave us those skills and we put them to action and we took them across the world or across the country or however we could. And that's the importance, and that's part of what I trying to do as a older person with regards to sports. And it could be difficult at times because people have different interpretations of what needs to happen and who needs to be in charge.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in charge of anything. I wanted to just be there to instill my knowledge and my experiences so people could just move forward.
That's important. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So, but apart from that, I started with baseball because baseball was my love when I was small.
Okay.
My father was the president of the Soccer Federation, Soccer Association in St. Croix, right? And it was, I guess, it was expected that I would go into the soccer avenue, but that really didn't happen for me until after Little League because I was a smaller dude. I was when I was when I was like 13, I wasn't even 5 foot yet. Everybody else was monsters
Wow.
compared to me. And I mean, I had a glove that was like a sponge, and I could slap the ball around the yard. But it wasn't like some of these power hitters that we had. And I used to play against Jackie Ross and Sean Nolan and Junior, Eugene Thomas. Genix teams used to be monsters back then. Roger Martin, Craig Florup. We had so much talent in West that I swear we could have fielded at least 6 different All-Star teams if we needed to,
Needed
and
to.
and still beat up on each other because that's just St. Croix.
Yeah.
And where I started Little League was in St. Martin because my father was working for Island Finance and started Island Finance in St. Martin.
Okay.
And I started with E&M Rentals, which was my first team. I was about 9 years old.
9 years old. It was French or Dutch side?
On the Dutch side, on
Dutch
the
side.
Dutch side,
Okay.
yeah, close to Phillipsburg. And then I only ended up playing on that team because the team I was supposed to play for where I live was Risden All Stars, and they had too many men. So when that man get older in the next year, then I got to play with Risden All Stars, which was one of the best teams in St. Martin at the time. If you don't know, St. Martin and Curacao does interchange players. They used to interchange players back then too.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that was the Netherlands Antilles. You had the ABC Islands, and then you had Saba, Saint Eustatius, and Saint Martin. So all
Okay.
of that is part of the Netherlands Antilles. It was the same thing with soccer. They represented the Netherlands Antilles, and some of them players actually went to Holland and was actually playing for like schools of soccer, which are big names like Ajax from Amsterdam or Feyenoord or AZ Alkmaar. Those teams, they used to go to St. Martin and the Caribbean and pick up players. The reason Curacao looking so good now is because of Holland. Holland built them up, man.
Wow.
And that is something that we need to remember. And we're doing it now. We're doing it to a certain extent. But why it takes so long, man? The Virgin Islands been recognized by FIFA and CONCACAF since '92. which was the year I actually got signed by XXM Panthers in St. Martin, which was on the Dutch side by the Pan.
Yeah.
And that's to tell you the rotation. I went from St. Martin with Little League Baseball at 9 to being signed on a contract at 18 before my 19th birthday.
Wow.
My history with soccer in St. Croix is I played man ball because there was no youth soccer. And I played man ball from the time I left Little League. So I was 13 years old playing against these big men because
Yeah.
we had some monsters, man. Mania Lake and these guys were enormous. And you have to learn how to play against big men to get to the next level. And
Yeah. For sure.
fortunately for me, my team used to take care of me and used to mind me making mistakes and getting hurt on the field. So it was a good learning experience. So I'm going to lead into a couple things with the way things going now with the youth system and the development and stuff like that with kids.
Okay.
So 13 years old, I went to play for Caribbean United, one of the top three teams in St. Croix at the time. Africa United and Caribbean United had played for the championship. I was a benchman, playing my years. 2 years. So I reached 15. The picture that you have, I want to say that I was 15 in that picture when we went to Puerto Rico. And
Okay.
that's when them man from Country Day in the back, you would see Jonas Fry was there. He played for Country Day. We also had at that time we were just turning to Rovers. We also had Jaime Torres and Mike Garcia from Country Day. So I was one of the first youths from the high school that came into play in the league at that time. Ac- Around that time, they had developed a team called Skills that was out of Scion Farm. I think Mr. Robinson was the one, um, Earl Robinson was the one that created that team. And it was for the younger generation, younger kids to play and develop their skills to play internationally or to play abroad. Um, when I My last year playing home was really 92, 93, I want to say. That was when I was part of Rovers. I was still on Rovers Rasta until my father and my family leave St. Croix in 94. They came up to Florida.
To Florida.
Yeah. I was part of the graduating class of 1990, which is a Hugo class, 89, 90.
Yeah.
So my senior year, we were supposed to be a top dominant team in soccer, and we lost some players had come up to the States. My career as a high school player in St. Croix, I play every sport, um, but soccer had kept me from competing in track and field. And volleyball gets squashed by Hugo because volleyball and soccer used to run around the same time. So
Okay.
when the gym get mashed up, all we had was a covering and couldn't get clear. There was very little gyms that could support volleyball and basketball around the same time, because basketball was at the end of our soccer season.
Okay.
So it was harsh. It was harsh. It was a small school. So my freshman year, we had a man by the name of Robert Joseph, who was at the time the coach of Unique. He was coaching St. Joseph because I went to St. Joseph High School. And he was the coach there, and that was my sister's senior year. And there were things that he didn't like about me that I understand because I was a young man and stupid in the head. You
Yeah.
make your mistakes and stuff like that. And he saw me and stuff like that. But he left our team just before our soccer season started the sophomore year.
Oh wow.
And I never understood it. I know people growing up to be busy and work gets in the way, but prepare us to have somebody else there to build up the we had such a good team that was trying to be built. So I ended up coaching St. Joseph my sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Wow. That's crazy.
And Mr. Golfin was the head at the field. So he was the coach at the field because you had to have an adult as a coach. You couldn't have a youth
Yeah.
being a coach.
Student.
So, so when Golfin comes up to me, Golfin said, "Listen, you play open league. I need you to coach these men." I was like, "Say what?" He's like, yeah, I need you to coach these man them. I was like, all right. I get thrown to fire learning how to coach people, man. I ended up it ended up helping me build up my skills as well. But out of the blue, for 3 years, I was a coach in high school with my team.
That
Um,
is crazy.
and if you know sports in St. Croix when it comes to high school, there you have people that has come that don't know the sport, so you have to teach them from scratch
Yeah.
and build them up. And we got a good team. And when we went into my senior year, we had such a good team that Central was worried about us, which is kind of strange because Central had all them down island guys,
Yeah.
and Central had some real all-star players on their soccer team. Um,
What
Kenyatta
around?
and them. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Around what year is this?
My senior year was 89, 90.
89, 90. Okay, 89, 90.
So the everything 87, 88,
80s.
88, 89, those years, yeah. So
Okay.
that's and we had some good we had they used to have some really good high school games. There wasn't much of a crowd because soccer is a stepchild sport in St. Croix,
Yeah.
or was back then, you know. But when it came to the man league, it was different. You used to have a good crowd on the weekends and stuff like that. So I play on a team with some seriously talented Johannes Wordy, who is a gentleman that still live on St. Croix. He is the one that invited my son to go and play with the Rovers club up in Denmark a couple of years ago.
Wow.
He's responsible. Him and Terry Jones. Talk about legends. That is legends, brother. Johannes was actually in the Hall of Fame for Berry College up here. Terry Jones is one of the best goalkeepers that we have ever seen in the Virgin Islands, and I wish that we could have tapped off of his knowledge to develop more of a goalkeeping academy in St. Croix, because we have such good
Oh, that would
baseball
be
and
awesome.
basketball players that
Yeah.
hand skills. When you see, I could look at a baseball or a basketball player and tell you who is gonna be the one that I gonna put in the goal. I had
Yeah.
I had a couple guys that I put in the goal when I was coaching. I put Mike Johnson, who used to work at IL-95, was in school with me, and he was my goalkeeper my senior year. My sophomore year, I want to say that person was Aaron Hital. He was a Trinidadian guy, but he never used to play no soccer or nothing like that. But we used to shut down people, man. Him and Fillmore, I can't remember Fillmore last name, but then man, we had some good teams, you know, and soccer was good. We didn't have baseball in high school. We had because of insurance situations in the Virgin Islands, we ended up having softball. So it was always we used to be beating up on each other. Good Hope actually was a separate school. So Good Hope Country Day,
Yeah.
Manor School, St. Dunstan's, and Central. And Central used to beat up on man because they just had the talent pool was
At the
there.
talent. Yeah.
Yeah, you had Almestica and that man that was fast pitch geniuses that used to you couldn't even see the ball if you wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention, you know. So
Yeah. Straight gas. Straight
yeah,
gas.
yeah, oh, man, and
Yeah.
you just had to okay, yeah, you cross your toes and make a prayer and you're gone. You hit it. If you hit it, they're going into the fence. If you miss it, they're gonna smell. You're gonna smell that glove hit. You're gonna hit that. Smell it from the glove.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, but that soccer in high school was such a blessing for me when it came to the coaching part because that developed me for where I am now with coaching. Um, the league, my development with regards to playing with the team, there were a lot better players than me on my team with Rovers.
Uh-huh.
The separation was different. I didn't agree with the coach, the same guy that had left St. Joseph, for telling me that he was putting a better person for a better athlete than me up front. When I play all the sports in the world,
Yeah.
and I had exceeded, and I played soccer I had was playing soccer at this level in this team for a while, and I had played tennis. I was a good tennis player, and I also was a golfer as well. But this man didn't see that kind of stuff. He wanted something else. So I was like, all right. So I adjust myself, and when I get invited to go places, I went and play. Central invite me to go Puerto Rico to play with them with a team. This man Juan Vega, who used to play for Good Hope, his family used to run Central Meat Market in West. He used to play with me too in SPS. It was him, me, Calvin Marshall, Alawali Flores. We had a decent team, but we used to get
Decent
beat
team.
up. We used to get beat up. We used to get beat up. Yeah, we wasn't like the SPS that you know. That
Yeah, yeah,
SPS,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, yeah, that SPS, you know, had a bunch of men that should have played professional.
I'll take all the blues first, man. That's what it
Man,
was.
you get some licks sometimes, man.
Yeah. And your
And
brother and Beanie them reap all the benefits. You know, that's what it is.
but that's how it goes, you know.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it go for real, man.
But yeah, so I went through the transition, and it you have to at some time realize, and unfortunately for me, my senior year was Hugo. The counselors and stuff like that leave St. Croix after the hurricane. So the schools that I was charted to go to and have the visitations to go and check the campus out and stuff like that, my video get messed up from water.
Wow.
I had to have another video done. Johannes was one of the only man at the time. It ain't like now that you use your phone and just take video like nothing, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So Johannes actually set me up, and we used to play ball in Science Farm on a Sunday, and Johannes told me, listen, on Sunday I'm gonna video you, and I'm gonna set it up so and do some drills, and then you could use that as your recruitment tape. And I used that, and I sent it to 4 schools, and 3 of them responded.
Wow.
So it was I had sent it to Clemson, UC Berkeley, Georgia Southern, and Canisius College. And Clemson is the only one in answer me. The other 3 answer me. But I panic. And this is why I wish that more youths would be aware of how school works when you go into college. I had panic because California schools don't start until next month.
Mm.
So I was worried that I wasn't getting any information from the California school.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I gotta make up my mind. So I ended up going to Canisius College in Buffalo, and that's where I developed some new skills. And because my work ethic was a lot different than people knew, I used to disappear. People didn't realize that I used to go on trips and play soccer, and they didn't realize that I used to run every day, and I used to put in my 5 to 8 miles every day and get.
Yeah.
Nobody was outrunning me on the soccer field. That's the one thing I could tell you about me. And I could jump out. I could jump for the short man that I was.
You
So
had you had hops. You
yeah,
had hops.
I had some haps, man, and it was a blessing for me, you know. And my speed was there. My speed was on par. So when I
Yeah,
did my 40, when I went into college, I was like 4.41.
that's
And
fast.
my fastest time in the 40 was 4.39, and I was like, I didn't think anything about it, but
That's fast.
I had faster man around me. I had Terry. My goalkeeper was faster than me and Rovers, man.
Oh wow.
Terry was fast. Terry was fire. And then I play with another legend in St. Croix is McDonald Taylor. And he
McDonald, okay.
now this man is the oldest soccer player to ever play in a World Cup qualifier, and he in St. Croix. And he
Really?
needs more
Wow.
recognition, and we don't give him enough recognition. I learned a lot of my work ethic when I was playing ball from Mackie, because he would go on runs, and when I would reach before practice would start, I would usually reach like an hour before practice. This man would take me, Martin Marietta, have that lap around the complex, right? To the back, you run up the hill and the dirt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This man used to take me, we going cross country, and we running cross country, brother. And we running cross country, and then we doing practice after that. So it
Wow.
was no way for me to be tired during games, and
Yeah.
that's where the work ethic come from. But Mackie had a huge impact. I actually had him up here, and I took him to lunch to introduce him to my son, so my son could hear that what I saying is not just noise. This
Yeah.
is just proven fact.
That's true.
You don't put in the work, you're not gonna get where you want to be. That's just how it goes.
That's true. That's true.
So I play in Canisius for a couple of years, and in the summer, was it the summer of '91? After school will finish, because school will finish in May for college, I started playing in a like a semi-professional league, which was allowed at the time with NCAA rules for soccer, because you wouldn't get paid, so it
Yeah.
was fine. So I went Toronto and I played up there. One of my friends actually dragged me on a team to Walden, Canada, and I played there with some fellas from Scotland. And from there, I was playing in a tournament in Toronto, and that's where Jorge Casagrande, Ramos Casagrande, had seen me play. And he had reached out to my coach in college, and he got my information, and then called me in Buffalo, and he was like, I see you from the U.S. Virgin Islands," and I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "What's your name again?" I was like, "Hayden." He's like, "What's your last name?" I was like, "Wills." He's like, "Your father is Bobby Wills," and I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, that's my father name." He's like, "I must have seen you before." I was like, "I don't know how," because St. Patrick's Saint had no soccer. St.
Yeah.
Joseph had soccer, but if he had come, you would have recognized this man because he was 6'6", a soccer coach, 6'6". He used to be
Wow.
a good soccer player from Brazil.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know who you are. I saw you when you was 7. I was like, 7? 1979
Wow.
to 91 is when this man had seen me. I was like, and you remember that? And he's like, yeah, because you were the shortest on the field and you could cross the ball like nobody else. And I was like, okay,
Somebody's always watching, man. You just
that's
never
what,
know.
and that's exactly what I just tell the young fellas. Them, I was like, listen, every practice you go to, I don't care how bad you feeling inside, use it as an escape.
Yeah.
Put your best foot forward because you don't know who looking at you,
It's
and
true.
that person might take you somewhere else that you never know.
Never know. And
Because
it's
I whole yeah, because I ended up playing with Panthers. Club Monterrey from Mexico had brought me on loan for a month before I ended up in Jamaica. So Club
yeah.
Monterrey, I was in Club Monterrey for 30 days, 30 to 45 days or something like that. I was there with they had a guy, it was another Brazilian coach at that time. What is it, Torres? No, Torres was the other one. But he had a Paraguayan goalkeeper and an Argentinian forward. And I learned more skill from the Argentinian forward than I had learned in a long time because
Mm.
it was new, like learning gaps and learning the read to read a defender and what
Okay.
step to take. Opened my eyes to a whole new level of soccer, a whole new level of
Yeah, I could
soccer. Some
imagine.
I never expected to get such a lesson. And then I get the team. Panthers had gone to Jamaica for their 2 games in Jamaica because they would the league, the CPL, the Caribbean League had just started in '92, right? And when they went to Jamaica, some players couldn't go, and Ramos Casagrande had reached back to me and said, "Listen, I need you in Miami. This is when we're gonna be there. Just let the coach know that I need you back so that you could be put on the team." I didn't expect to start, and he put me to start, and I went and I played in Montego. That's where I initially got hurt, and I got hurt in Montego Bay. I never seen a soccer stadium like that. It was a soccer stadium with hills,
With
right?
hills?
With hills,
Jeez.
right up against a river. So when you take halftime, you would go into a cabin, and that's the cabin was on the river. And when you come out of the cabin to go to the field, brother, is a cloud of smoke.
Jeez. This is
So
crazy.
it was beautiful up there, but I was like, what? I ain't never seen nothing like that before. And from there he had take me, and he had before I had get hurt, we had traveled around the Latin America and play soccer. Then I get hurt at that game, but then and he ended up starting me in the office, which is in Kingston, the main soccer stadium in Jamaica. We play against Lions, and I played the first half and we were good, and then I get hurt again in the second half.
Jeez.
Fella come right through the leg that he, and I guess they had see somebody had see that my leg had got taken out in the other game.
Yeah,
And
previous game.
yeah, then when I went back to the locker room, I was like, "Coach, I don't know if I could do much more." He said, "Just give me another 10 minutes," and I tried to do the 10 minutes, and that put me on a list because what happens with and this is important for kids, you have to do the work that you need to do with your rehab when you get hurt.
That's true.
Because when you get blacklisted or you get red listed, you are behind the reserves of any soccer team. Okay.
That is so true.
So, and that is true with any sport
Yeah.
because it don't matter what your skill level was, injured, is broken stock.
Yeah.
So you you need to make sure that you keep up and you do the work that you need to do. So I went through the paces. There was a Dutch guy that I did some camera work. They went in and did some scopes and stuff like that, and they fixed my knee up. And I went back to Buffalo and I played with a couple teams up there and traveled around. Ended up playing in I went to Tacoma, I went to Vancouver, and then we jumped across to Japan and Hong Kong and went to Thailand.
Oh,
So I,
nice.
I travel around playing the
Yeah, man.
game. I play
Jeez.
with a team called Germania out of Buffalo, and Germania was one of a really good soccer team that had some really good prospects. Some of these guys actually played. New York used to have the Empire State Games, and they used to play against these top level players from Jersey and New York and stuff like that. I couldn't play because I at that time I wasn't a resident, but it was a good experience. And then I played at another club called Black Star, and Black Star had half of the team was Jamaican and half of the team was African. so,
That's a
so
that's a perfect mix right there.
man, that fellas was crazy.
I can imagine.
I see a fella kick a ball so hard he make the goalkeeper run.
Jeez.
Uh, and but that was and they took me to play tournaments in the center of the country, Chicago, St. Louis. I went to New Orleans with them, and that experience was really good. It gave me eye-opening stuff. The thing is, I never get called for the Virgin Islands national team.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, and I never understood why, but I found out that there was a couple of reasons why. Because at the time I playing, you also have a man from Brooklyn. His name was Chris Amos. Now he's a coach in MLS.
Okay.
So me and Chris could have represent Puerto Rico because my mother's Puerto Rican, and I could also represent Trinidad and Tobago because my father from Trinidad. And
Okay.
I didn't know that a coach by the name of Jab Brown had wanted me to represent Trinidad and Tobago until I was on SXM Panthers. And you have to also remember St. Croix was not yet recognized, or the Virgin Islands was not yet recognized by CONCACAF until 92, until that year
Yeah.
that I ended up getting hurt. And then they didn't end up getting their into the real qualification rounds and stuff like that, or doing stuff with regards to qualifiers until later. We played. Rovers was one of the clubs that represented the Virgin Islands in the American Airlines Cup, which is now, I think it's called the Caribbean Cup. And they played teams from Dominican Republic and Down Island and Guadeloupe, Antigua. That was a big tournament that they were part of. And from there, they actually had developed relationships where one of the coaches that was a coach for the United States, the USVI, Mr. Ramirez, Ramirez. William.
William Ramirez.
Yeah, he was a good coach. He is actually, I think he's back there. And believe it or not, DR has a professional league.
Oh, really?
People don't know that.
Wow.
People absolutely don't know that. People don't know the extent of soccer in the Caribbean, in places where other sports is big. Like they don't realize how big the soccer community is in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, you gotta remember, Dominican Republic got a German base too, San Cristobal. That's where a lot of players came from.
Okay.
But that's where a lot of the professional development in the Dominican Republic came from too. There is also in Puerto Rico the UPR Soccer Federation. UPR had Puerto Rico had a professional soccer team in USL. So what is our disconnect that we can't go from St. Croix to Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic and get our boys to play on teams or get recognized?
Yeah.
Because Mumba, we got talent.
We have
We got
talent. That's true.
ample talent on the soccer field. People talk about baseball. Baseball, yes, definitely. Basketball, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But people don't realize the extent of the talent that we have on the soccer field. We actually had a fella up here, group that used to play for USF. Ended up going to Virginia Tech a few years ago. One of the best players I've ever seen come out of any Caribbean island. I don't know what happened with regards to his development and where that ended up. But I tell you what, man, and going up to Denmark and watching these kids play, I know we got some kids that stayed home that weren't on these teams that deserve those trips.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see that it's not happening.
Yeah. That's sad, man. That's sad.
Mhm.
Um, we have a question here. What position you played on the soccer field?
Okay, so I started out as a central striker, right? But after the first year, I was put as a left wing because I'm ambidextrous, so I use both legs.
Okay.
So they put me on the left wing. So, and if I wasn't playing left wing at Rovers, I was playing up front or outside left. When I went to college, the coach with my speed put me in the back as a left center back or in the center midfield, left center midfield. Or when I played for the other teams that I traveled around with, they would put me as a nine, which was right behind the strikers. So I could actually collect the ball and distribute it. I was like a point guard with those teams.
Okay. So like a
Mhm.
point guard.
Yeah.
Did you? So we have a question. Did you know Tiga when he played soccer?
So I wish Tegan was here because I
Yeah.
had a question for him. So I tell Tegan, I was like, I sent him a message the other day. I was like, Tegan, you remember when when we had that soccer field in Hess? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you used to be up on that hill with the Robinson twins rolling down that hill. And he had me, man, that's 30 years ago.
So yeah.
No, I remember
Wow,
Tegan.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
When I found out that Tegan was playing basketball at the level he was playing basketball, I wasn't impressed because I know he was that kind of athlete.
yeah,
I thought he would have stayed on this side of the world, but he could have played anywhere, man. He was really a good basketball player, and he's a hell of an athlete. I give him his props with that.
yeah. He's
But
a hell of a athlete for real.
dude, when we used to play, when we start to play soccer, at soccer games in Hess or in Martin Marietta, we never used to use a soccer ball, you know. Them people wouldn't give us a soccer ball because they were afraid we are gonna kick it over the fence or kick it on the field. So we used to kick around soda cans.
Also, oh wow, that even make yourself more. It probably help you become a better soccer player as far as striking.
Bro, you don't know where the can gonna bounce.
Yeah, you don't know, and it's so small. You got to actually focus more on hitting the can.
Yeah, man. I didn't get
That's
I didn't get a real ball until I was about what, 10 years old?
oh
Nine,
wow.
9 years old, and that was a Mikasa special. And that ball wasn't coming out of the car, man, because these boys wanted to kick the ball over the fence.
Over the fence, right? Yeah, you got keep
Yeah,
that
but
missing.
we missed that Hess soccer field because that Hess soccer field was north south.
Okay,
The field in Martin Marietta was east west.
East
So
West.
a man in the west goal was getting that ball back in his face if they had a strong wind. See
Oh, okay,
see that
okay.
a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, Achem Challenger, he mentioned that the Puerto Rico USL team owned by Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo
Yes,
Anthony is the
yes,
owner. So that's pretty awesome that,
yes.
Yeah.
We don't realize where how soccer has developed athletes in the United States. And a lot of our great athletes and people, I don't like LeBron, but LeBron is one of them, and he's a supporter like me of Liverpool, a
Yeah.
huge supporter of Liverpool. He actually is a part owner of Liverpool. I don't think a lot of people know that either. So LeBron James
Yeah.
have his money into that club because hey, it's worldwide, man. That's
Well, yeah.
this sport is something that, and I see it happening now where our kids are getting the opportunity to go to Spain and go to Germany or go to France and do camps over there. But don't forget that the US has developed soccer because of MLS and because of the USL has developed soccer for all of the countries in the Latin American basin.
Yeah.
When I was actually on the practice team for the Mutiny. What was I don't even remember the years now. 97, 98. It was before I had got married. I was always amazed at the talent that used to come out of small countries in Central America. We had a guy from Trinidad that was actually up here. His name was Evans Wise. He was one hell of a defender. And then we had a guy came from Africa at one point. One of my good partners at that time. I have lost touch with him because we didn't have Facebook and stuff like that
Yeah, that's true.
until after the launch of MLS. And like when I was playing, we didn't have no professional soccer league in the U.S. We had semi-professional leagues. We had some leagues that had like 200 and something teams across the country. But this guy from
Jeez.
Africa was Mamadou Diallo,
Okay, Mamadou, yeah.
and
That's
he
the
was he was a real good player. He was funny, big, monstrous dude, 6'5", 215 pounds, lean muscle man, but he could run like the
yeah,
wind. And it was a pleasure to have them man around, and I wish that at that time I was aiming to go back home because I think that our gap in generations between my generation and they have a generation that you guys are behind me, so our generation is helping run things right now. I wish that gap had bridged a little bit better, but
okay,
that's just how life ended up being,
yeah,
because there is something missing, and it's not just soccer. It's baseball and basketball, any sport in St. Croix.
yeah,
There is a link that's missing, and I think it's the love and appreciation that we had for the game at the time. I don't think it transferred well because we weren't there in the stands for our brothers and our sisters when they were playing.
yeah,
And I know that for me, that was something that was missing because I didn't get to see my brother play a lot of baseball. I got to see him play soccer up here. He actually was the goalkeeper for Hillsborough High School and did a hell of a job for them. He was one of their record holders, and then he went to St. Leo College and play up there too. But I think that bridge, that lack, that separation that happened there with regards to the generations of players that came to the states and stayed up here,
yeah,
I think it hurt the youth that's there, and I think it's still hurting the youth because what we did, that generation behind us did as well, and they stayed up here.
yeah. That's true. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah, because I could use myself as an example too. Because I'm up here.
yeah,
You know, so you 100% correct. If I was home with the knowledge I have and my experience as far as baseball, you
yeah.
know, I could have definitely help just being hands on more. And
Right,
being
right.
there. And being available physically.
Yeah.
So you absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah, and,
We
thank goodness for the internet, because I stay in touch with some of the young players from home that I met over the last couple of years. Because I's a VI man and I represent to the bone.
yeah.
My father might be from Trinidad and mother from Puerto Rico, but I fly the flag from behind you on my chest, proud as everybody could see,
Yeah,
because that is where I was born and raised.
it's true. I see it on your Facebook. You represent. You definitely be representing. So I know, man. I know. We have
Yeah.
another question. I know you. I know you probably didn't touch on all the places you played, but we have
Mm,
a question here. What was your favorite place to play?
mm. That's a question I had asked somebody before. Trade back at me.
Yeah, yeah. I remember.
My favorite place to play, Panama,
Okay.
Panama City, in
Panama
in
City.
in in, in the country of Panama. Um, I think there was the nicest people I have ever met, and I had gone through. I think it's my favorite because of what had happened before. Because I had got batteries and toilet paper thrown at me when I was taking a corner in El Salvador and
Wow,
Honduras. Hey,
that's
that's
crazy.
international soccer was like that, man. So,
Jeez.
but Panama was a great experience after having them nightmares, man, because we could we were put up in the hills to stay instead of staying in a city hotel before the games. So we had a chance to relax and stuff like that. But the people were so nice in Panama that I really appreciated it a lot more than. And I really appreciate how the people in Mexico were. And I played in Azteca Stadium. It was half empty, but half empty in that stadium is 50,000 people.
Jeez. Wow.
But I think the love of athletes and the way athletes were treated in Panama, that were the foe, as opposed to Mexico, was completely different.
Mm.
But yeah, Panama, hey, good memories.
Panama. So, what's the largest crowd you ever played in front of soccer? Because I know soccer be having, like you said, half empty stadium was 50,000.
Mhm.
Some, professional sports, some don't even make it to 50,000.
Yeah. Um, I want to say Azteca was the biggest crowd, but I am not 100% sure. I also played in the Rose Bowl in a tournament in, what was that, 93?
That's
Yeah,
in
in 93.
Pasadena, right?
In
Pasadena,
Pasadena.
California.
Yeah, yeah. And again, Saka was not big yet because the World Cup was the following year.
Mm.
So that time, that stadium only had like 20,000 at that time. But yeah, Azteca, I think, was the biggest crowd I had played in front of. Even though the office was packed. And let me tell you, when the Jamaican team, any Jamaican team plays in Kingston, and you hear a man going in front of goal, it sounds like a wave coming at you, man. It is insane. It is one of the most energetic feelings, and it has happened in Panama too, and Costa Rica. But that is it is. They had a sold out crowd for the Lions, but the one in Mexico was bigger.
It's you travel to a lot of different places, man.
Mhm.
It's amazing that you travel to so many different places. How was it like traveling as far as with the language barrier? Coming from like you born you in St. Martin and then the Virgin
Yeah.
Islands. You went up to Buffalo and then from Buffalo, in college, you travel to all these different countries.
Hmm.
How was that experience like?
Well, I speak a couple of languages. So I speak Spanish and English fluently. But I went to an all Dutch school when I was in St. Martin. So a lot of my coaching happened by Dutch coaches from Ajax School of Football. And I have some decent skills with French because of my existence around French players and players from Haiti. Because half of my teammates in St. Martin were from Haiti.
Okay.
I, I got a crazy story about that, but I'll leave that for later. But the core languages around the world had helped me. The only places I had trouble talking was if I went to Arabic based country or if I went to a Nordic based country because the language is so separated from Latin that I didn't have a basis to find the language.
Okay.
And Hong Kong, forget about it. That is a completely different set of sounds when it comes to languages. But yeah, because and not for nothing, Chinese people speak more than one language, man. They could speak French and they could speak English too. They
Oh,
just
wow.
want you to try and speak their language.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? The fact that I would try and communicate with them in their language made it easier for me. Because I wasn't like, no, 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 English, English, like a lot of people would do.
Yeah.
I was never like that. And I would speak to whoever I could speak to and try and get more information because I always been hungry from information from the time I smile.
Yeah.
So I want to say thanks to my father and my mother for opening our eyes to different cultures and making sure that we were able to embrace different cultures and languages when we were growing up. Because imagine Little St. Croix have so many languages in it right now that if you're not trying to learn to communicate with each other on St. Croix, you're hurting yourself when you travel around the world.
That's true.
But
That's very
yeah,
true. What about the food?
I eat anything at least twice.
So, not I really want to put you on the spot, but like
No,
me, like for me, like I love food. So like
yeah, me
I'll
too.
I'll touch on it real like so like you travel way more countries than me, but when I was playing baseball,
Hmm.
especially when I got to the higher levels in AAA, we used to go to like all the major cities that didn't have a baseball major league team, but they had like an NFL team or NBA team.
Right.
And I would always go to like the downtown and I always try the food. And I always used to go to like the more mom and pop place just to try the food. I used to always do that every city I
Yeah.
went to. So like, yeah. So I'm asking you, right, not to put you at the spot. So any other
Ask,
your
ask my
teammates or
friend.
Yeah,
Ask my sons. I make them eat anything. I tell them, listen, I don't want to
yeah,
hear the word yuck. Yuck don't exist.
yeah. You
If
have to
you ain't,
exist.
if you ain't try it, I don't want to hear it. You have to try it at least twice.
Yeah,
Once
true.
for the experience because you don't know what the texture and the flavor is. That's
Yeah,
absolute. The second one is to make sure that the texture and the flavor was what it was the first time. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. I have eaten bat wing, I've eaten snake, I've eaten scorpion, I have eaten all kinds of things. But I am willing to put. I always been adventurous when it comes to food, and I like to cook too. So, but
yeah.
we as people from the Virgin Islands are so spoiled because we have so much flavor in our food.
That's true.
And I know where you play baseball didn't have the flavors that we had.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
you were looking for adobo. You had to wait until you went Chicago to find adobo and stuff like that.
yeah.
But same thing with me on Buffalo. When I first went to Buffalo, I was happy when a Puerto Rican restaurant had finally opened on Niagara Street. I was like, oh yeah, once a week I gonna be at El Fogon. And El Fogon was my home on Fridays after my camera work with NBC. They know me by first name, man. I went back up
Oh
there
wow.
for a wedding, and the lady's like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "Hey, I live in Florida now." She's like, "I miss you." But yeah, that's how it was, man.
Yeah, man. That's so talk. You touched on Buffalo, and I was gonna ask you this too. How, because coming from the Virgin Islands, right, going to college in Buffalo, how was that transition like? That experience, dealing with the snow, the cold weather, different culture, different atmosphere.
So my experience at Buffalo, I love Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, and I had good experiences with people. I
Yeah.
actually had a host mother, Miss Lyons, that actually took me in as part of the family, and they were graduates of Canisius College too, and it actually helped ease the getting used to being up there. The second thing is we had a group called Global Horizons, which is where a majority of my friends right now, that's where they came from. And we had people from all over the world, Marshall Islands, Jordan, uh, Saudi Arabia, India. One of the other soccer players that played with me, I had two soccer players that played with me that were part of the Global Horizons. One of them, we call him John Utsunomiya. He's from Japan. His real name is Tetsuya. But he said, "Just call me John. Just call me John. Don't try and pronounce." And he was a bad basketball player. He could
Oh
play,
wow.
and he was Japanese, man. But it was baseball, basketball, and soccer. This man used to play. And then the other one was Jonathan David, and he was from India. And I was like, Indian playing soccer. I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you just think we all play cricket? And I was like, but yeah, so having that kind of a family group that's
Mhm.
international,
Yeah.
we fed off of each other.
Nice.
And it gave us the opportunity to develop them relationships that we couldn't develop with people from Buffalo because people like you would know from playing baseball in the middle of the country, people from the interior of the United States don't usually travel outside of a certain radius, like 50 miles or something like that.
That is
So they,
true.
they have a very small circle of what they know.
Yeah.
And when you tell them, oh, I'm from the United States Virgin Islands, and they were like, where is that?
Yeah.
And
They
you
don't
have to
know.
say, is that close to Jamaica? I was like, no, it's not close to Jamaica. It's close to Puerto Rico. And
Same
then
thing I used to say.
you have to go into the explanations. And I was like, this
Yeah.
story getting old, man.
So true, man.
I gonna have to find it someday and probably post it online. I actually had made a documentary when I was in college called Breaking the Ice, and
Okay.
I interviewed all of my counterparts that came from the different parts of the world because it's a smorgasbord of people, and it was about their introduction into American society and how they assimilated or how they responded to the question, um, "Do you have electricity in your hut?" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
you get some stupid questions sometimes.
It's
That's
true,
just
man.
how it is.
Yeah. Stupid, crazy questions.
Hey, But yeah, I appreciate that. But it took a year and a half to get assimilated. And it was hard because I didn't know anything about coal and I didn't know about snow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how important long johns were. until I get like a freeze burn on my leg from my jeans because it was so cold it burned off the hair from my leg.
Jeez.
But my first experience with snow, check this out. Had to go to practice September. It was the first week of September. Practice was 6 o'clock in the morning. This was just before a game that we were supposed to play in Manhattan. And I wake up late. My alarm went off late. Hayden rushing. And I had to get slides, not slides, indoor shoes. So they're flat. So they didn't have studs. So I could put them on and go because
Yeah.
our field was AstroTurf. Brother, I run out that door, man. They were trying to warn me from the desk, you know. I run out that door, man. As soon as I hit the top stoop, it was ice. It had snow. And I went
Ooh.
face first into the snow and get up and run. When I reached practice, every man laughing at me because I soaking wet. And I have this accent. This accent is not as bad as it was back then.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
So,
true. He was strong. Yeah, I wonder how
man,
the people in the front was. They probably were thinking like, "This man crazy."
that man gave me some noise, my son. And then my roommate, and he trying to mimic my accent, and he sounded like the guy from Lucky Charms. I was like, I'm not Irish, man.
That's the worst way to try.
Yeah.
Try and mimic your accent.
But yeah, man, and that's still one of my partners, man. He live in North Carolina now. I just still mess
Okay.
around with him, and he's a musician. It's crazy how close you become when you are part of the sports culture.
Yeah.
And sports culture, music, and in my world, because I was a communications major and I worked with NBC in New York for a little bit, the communications world, that scope, those people that you make those connections with,
Yeah.
it actually give you a larger base of friends and family around the world. Because I tell you what, they treat you like family, man. They
Yeah.
really treat you like family. It's incredible how you could see how humans supposed to treat each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. You are. I was a communications major too. I mean,
Mhm.
public relations and advertising. That's what
I
mine
work
was.
mass communication and television broadcast.
Okay, nice
So
now. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Mm,
was actually supposed. I didn't like to be in front of the camera. They used to try and put me in front of the camera all the time. But
yeah.
I was better with editing and doing the background stuff and the sound mixing and stuff like that. It-
Okay.
it- yeah, a lot of people was like, "Oh, communications, that's a boom boom major. You just doing it." I was like, "Yeah, why you don't come and do that with me and see what it is about?"
See, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
they
that's
don't
nice,
have
man.
to. Well, I messed up because and now and this is the thing, kids now have to understand that you could use that communications major and with your love of sports, implement it, get yourself on film, put yourself in front of ESPN, Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports,
Yeah.
get that kind of vision, put your face in front of people, and you will be surprised at what they need. Because I tired of seeing the same people doing soccer commentary right now around the world. I tired of it. And I
Yeah.
tired of seeing Alexi Lalas. To me and Alexi Lalas don't like each other. But that's neither here nor there. I still got a scar on my ankle about because of his dress.
Because
But
I hear. Yeah. He's the
but
he don't kill me, my son.
that man is
He don't
something else.
kill me.
Lexi was good, but he was slow like molasses, man. We could beat him with one move. But it was crazy. It's crazy to see how small it is because if I look at ESPN Sports, I'm expecting to see a bigger distribution of people working it. Now they have that Jamaican young lady working in soccer, ESPN FC. But before, bro, they didn't have the talent, and they were
Yeah.
going and they were raiding other companies and bringing those people to work for them. And I was like, nah, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So the young bloods need to learn. We have to just use your skill. And
Yeah.
there's so many things out there now. And I know a majority of athletes love music. That's
Yeah.
it's just inert. Okay.
Yeah. Goes hand in hand.
Use it. Use it to your benefit. Use your sport to your benefit because you could go and get your music degree. You could go your business entertainment degree by playing ball in college. You don't have to go to a Division 1 school. You could go to a Division 3 or an NAIA school.
Yeah.
Or use it to pay for your degree. You don't have to worry about paying. I had to worry about paying for 1 year of school because that's just how life ended up being.
Yeah.
But if you implement yourself and you use the tools that you have, you could go wherever you want to go and do the things that you want to do with your life.
It's true. It's true. That's the good thing about sports, man. It creates so many opportunities for you.
Yeah,
So many opportunities. It's amazing. And like you said, take advantage of
yeah,
everything, man. You just
you
never
have to.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
have.
just never know. You you said you went to Vancouver. I've been to Vancouver before. What do you think
Yeah,
about Vancouver?
I like it.
I love Vancouver. One of the best, besides San Diego. That's probably the best city. San Diego is the best
Yes,
city I ever been to.
I almost ended up moving to San Diego from Buffalo because of that was what my goal was to do is go and work for ABC down in San Diego. But I ended up coming down here, and family is important, man. So
Yeah, it's
I
true.
ended up with a family.
Yeah. But Vancouver, man, love that place, man. Beautiful
Beautiful,
place. Yeah,
beautiful,
nice place.
and I think because we so accustomed having the hills and stuff like that around us,
Yeah,
that just make it even better.
yeah, it's true. It's true. So how many years you played soccer? Like when did you like retire or stop playing?
So I stopped playing after that. I actually get called up to play for the VI in 2000 and play against St. Vincent. 2 years after that, the boys were born, and I had stopped trying to go because I just wasn't getting called back home to go and play. I was still playing up here in FSSL. And then I got hurt. I actually had a partial tear in my Achilles in 2006. I had stopped. 2006.
Ooh, that's a serious injury.
Yeah, so it happened to me twice, and that was it. I couldn't, and I had always enjoy, and my goal was to actually still be playing until I turn 50, which is a couple of years away. But play in the league in the same FSLSL league that I was playing and coaching in at the lower tier until my son had started playing at his 18 years, where he could be allowed to play there. But it didn't happen. So things happen for a reason, man. I
Oh yeah,
had to slow down.
yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Touch on your because we have a question here about why you choose Buffalo or not the school in Florida, and I know you kind of touched on it where you said you was kind of
Mhm.
nervous because of the school in California that it
Yeah.
start next month. So
Well, I didn't know about schools in Florida and soccer. Um, the truth is, because we didn't have the counselors in school, didn't I didn't have the perspective of what I could have done in Florida.
yeah,
And it wasn't until my second year in college that I found out that USF was one of the biggest programs. Actually, USF was a host of the NCAA Division 1 championships in 1990 and 1991. When
wow,
UCLA, Ziggy Smith was a coach for UCLA at the time. He is one that wanted me to go to UCLA, but I didn't like that school and the air about that school. The Bruins weren't a thing for me to go into. But you know what? It was my mistake because the Bruins were the ones that actually built up the U.S. national team and stuff like that. So my decision hurt my opportunity in probably going in a different direction when it came to it. Maybe
okay.
maybe I would have had the chances that some of these guys haven't now. So it just happens that way.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing when you that age and you don't have like the knowledge or the guidance,
Mhm.
or someone that has experience to kind of help you make those type of tough decisions. That's why
Yeah.
that's why it's so important that we're like I'll use you as an example. If you have a kid from the Virgin Islands that's pretty good in soccer and they probably don't know who you are,
Hmm.
and maybe someone show them this this interview that's going on here when we celebrated you, you know then it creates an opportunity where they could contact you, where they could ask some information because you have so
Right.
much knowledge, you have so much experience, where you could help them make a better decision than when you was in that position that you couldn't make. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important that people it's important that for people to reach out to at the same time.
Very, very
you
true.
know
Very, very
you
true.
know it's so important. You
So,
know.
like right now, the best young to be professional in my eyes from the Virgin Islands is Jameson San Louis from St. Thomas.
Okay.
He's currently in a college in the Midwest, the Blackhawks. I can't remember what state it is.
Blackhawks.
Yeah, is that Iowa too?
Is it Kansas, Iowa?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll look it
I
up
don't
and I'll
think
tell you
Jihad's.
the area. But he went there perfectly good. He gonna learn a lot going into the cold and playing soccer in the cold.
Yeah,
I learned a lot that it makes a difference in climates and stuff like that. You learn how to adjust your body and stuff like that with
you
running.
100% correct. Yep.
So, but I wish I had known a little bit more about his path because I thought he was going to end up in France, but COVID messed up a lot of stuff for these kids recently. Like right
Yeah.
now, I have a kid from Armwood High School here in Sefna that I personally think I have never seen a striker like him in the last 18 years, to be
Wow.
honest with you. And raw talent like that, if you get them in front of a good coach and the coach could polish them out, they could be something fantastic.
Yeah.
Leading this leads me into a situation I have when it comes to how people perceive soccer and where kids are playing with regards to select and recreational and high school. I hear the degradation of high school soccer by a lot of coaches up here, and I don't appreciate it because not everybody could afford the $1,500 fee or the $4,000 price a year this costs to
Wow.
play in tournaments and to go around the country and play ball. No, not a lot of families could afford that, and
Yeah, it's true.
this is part of the problem with soccer in the United States because you have to pay to play, right? Um, the other thing, some of these rec leagues up here have a lot more talent than the select teams, and they play a lot more games. Yeah, I hear the argument. Oh, you're gonna get hurt by somebody that don't know how to control. I was like, you're supposed to learn how to avoid those kinds of contact. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna put your child in a situation where they need to learn to avoid the contact, guess what? When it's time for them to step up and go to the next level, it's not gonna be there. And the person that they're playing against is gonna run around them like if they wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So the separation in skill between what we call the Tarsa program in our area, which is a rec league, and the competitive league, some teams have a huge separation, but you don't look down on the players that are playing in those divisions. You should go out and actually watch the game and pay attention to the kids that actually have the skill. Those kids are the next stars that could come out of the country. In the Virgin Islands, we only have how many facets to play soccer right now? Is AYSO even doing anything right now?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody from home could tell me if you don't give the children an opportunity to play, they cannot outperform international competition. I've been I've been working with the federation back home as kind of like a recruit. I've been looking at talent up here for the past 20 years now. 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because Trevor, my son is what, 17, going to be 18 this year. So it's 20 years I've been looking at talent. And I've been sending talent to go play for Belize and Trinidad and stuff like that, right?
Oh, nice, nice, man.
So I look at the kids and I see the talent is there, but the parents are like, I'm not going to send my kid to play in this tournament because I don't think that they're going to miss a lot of school. And it's like, okay, so here is the thing. If you're worried about school, get with the federation and work a program out that when these kids go traveling, there is somebody there doing a study hall for them that they could be, because now we don't have no excuse like we used to have when I was playing. I used to be writing on a bus, brother. I used to be with a notebook like this and a flashlight in between my neck, writing like this because
Yeah.
you had to have your grades when you were playing in college.
Yeah. It's true.
I had to learn how to deal with my classes and get my work done. in this day and age of information and communication and connectivity, if you are not working with your federation and getting the kids' schools to communicate with the federation, there's a disconnect, and it's unfortunate for the Virgin Islands because the talented players that we had been missing over the last 3 years in some tournaments could have been the difference between our last place in our group and our first place.
First place.
Because I know for a fact that we have goal scorers that couldn't go because of the worry about school and the worry about other things with regards to holding them confined and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You have sacrifice has to happen at some point, right?
that's
But
true.
education could never be a sacrifice that would happen. That is up to the parents and the organization to get things together so that the kids could get the right things going. Because when you travel abroad, like I was talking to my son, they went to Nicaragua for the U20 tournament. He was on a team. I had two or three other players from up here that have Virgin Island links that went down. So I asked him, "Did you do your school work?" He's like, "Yeah, Dad, I got everything that I needed, and he got his stuff taken care of." This I made sure 2 weeks before that I spoke to the school and let them know that this was going to happen, and he took care of his stuff, right? But then I had the other kids from the area, and I told the parents, I was like, "Listen, you need to reach out to the school and make sure that the teachers are giving them work in the classes that they need to."
Yeah,
Because if they're not giving them work, when they go down there, they're gonna be all bored and sitting down. And let me tell you, an idle mind is a dangerous mind when you're in another country.
that is so true.
Very, very
That's true.
dangerous, especially at that age group too, between
Yeah,
17 and 20.
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
that's dangerous. You're setting up the kids for failure in a couple of ways.
yeah,
But the lack of communication has drive me crazy. Because I, as a man, that if I ask you a question and you ain't answer me, I gonna reach back out to you about 3 or 4 times. After the fourth time, I gonna give you a rest, and then I gonna find another avenue to go. But some people just don't communicate, and it is sad.
yeah.
So that's
Communication, man.
yeah,
Communication.
it's important. It's
Yeah,
too important. We hold our kids hostage with their talents when we don't communicate and when we don't do the things that we need to do for them.
yeah. It's true, and it's preventing lost opportunities.
Yes, a
You
lot,
know,
a
a
lot.
lot, man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that hurts a lot of kids back home is
Hmm.
the opportunity, not giving the opportunity.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, definitely,
for real, man.
definitely. I see GB talking about Odell Beckham was beast in soccer. Odell Beckham was really good too, man. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I've seen some little highlights of him messing around with the ball and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, um, like I said, you look at everybody that we have around us, and I appreciate you all having this forum for us to communicate and share our stories and stuff like that. But yeah, please do me a favor, Terrence Jones. Terrence Jones. Speak to him. His story is incredible. Partner came up from Trinidad to play with us in Rovers too. That is one of my brothers. I have a few brothers that, that don't share blood, and he is one of them. Him, Johannes Wordy, Mackie Taylor, Trevor Leiber. Trevor is in England now, but Trevor was one of my partners, and I actually had recommended him to go and play with. I recommended him and Mania Lake to go and play with XXM Panthers after I had got hurt and went back to school.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Mannion Lake. I think someone said earlier that's the uncle. Was it
Who's that?
Carrion? Carrion Shepherd?
Probably,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. T. So
Yeah,
I guess that's her and
that's
T.
Tegan and them family. Yeah,
Yeah, family. Yeah.
that's
So
Pam and them brother Pam Lake. Yeah. She was married to the guy that I was talking about, the coach, Robert Joseph.
okay.
Yeah, that,
No,
that 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 family. No, that family had so many soccer players in unique that actually
yeah,
the picture that you had posted, the guy in the back right is the youngest brother out of that group, Glenn. He was a DJ in St. Croix.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look at a picture again. Yeah.
Yeah. What you saying? Oh, the Haiti story.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Before you get to that, we had a question. We have a question from Dwayne. Do you coach or any? So I'm guessing. Do you coach right now? Do
I've
you
been
coach or anything?
I stopped coaching 3 years ago. I was going to go back into it, but because of certain situations with layoffs up here, I ended up having to put that on the back burner, and then COVID came.
Okay.
So probably by the end of this year, I will go back into coaching. The team that I was coaching here at the time was West Florida Flames out of Brandon. That's where my son plays. That's where Coach Mike is as well. And we also have. I also had introduced them to Suarez, Anthony Suarez. He is
Okay.
a
Anthony
co-
Suarez.
he is a good coach. I recommended him there because I went and watched a couple of his games at a tournament in Tampa. What was it, about a year and a half ago or a year ago? And then he ended up coaching with us. And he is one of the he has I think he have like 3 teams now, man. But he's a good coach. Yeah, he have them kids in line.
That's good.
Yeah.
We have. She has a question here. Did you know her dad, Cole One? They call him Cole
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. Cool one. The
I
man had deft touch, bro. He would control a ball coming at 50, 60 miles an hour and
jeez,
just put his
it's
foot up
crazy.
and real nice and smooth bring it down. Yeah, Cole one was deadly and he would always be on point with his pass, man. Always. Like I tell you, I've been around soccer and so here's the story of my father. My father was president of the St. Croix Soccer Association from 1975 after Edgar Isles, not 75, 71, after Edgar Isles had given it up to be part of the Olympic committee. So Dad was the president of St. Croix Soccer Association from 71 until we went to St. Martin, which was 80. And we were in St. Martin 2 years. And then when we came back, he became the president again, and he was president until they left in 94. So we know all of those soccer players. The team that my dad used to play for in St. Croix was called Prankton. And
Plankton.
yeah, Prankton United was actually a team based on Trinidadian players. So here's how the setup used to be, right? Santos was Catition players, mostly Catition players. Um, Caribbean United had a mixture of American and Trinis, and then Africa United had a lot of, I think it was Antiguans, just like Unique, but there were Antiguans and other players that were more dread. They were Rastafaris,
Yeah.
and they had one of the best strikers in the Caribbean for a while there too. Mitch, he was really fast and he was good. But one of the best strikers that I always used to admire when I was playing came from Hellenites, which is the St. Lucian team. And his name was Bobby, and I could never remember the man's last name. But once that man get the ball at his feet, he could run faster than anybody I've ever. He was faster with the ball than without the ball. I never know how
Jesus
that worked.
crazy.
I don't know how that worked. But yeah, so I know a lot of the old time soccer players. I know a lot of the old time soccer. I know a lot of the old time soccer history. Like a lot of people don't know. Pali Joseph Stadium, when they went and put them lights up, they had messed up the soccer ground that was there.
Oh
Because
wow.
soccer in the 60s, my father was telling me that soccer in the 60s was played in Frederickstead on Sundays on the outfield grass. They didn't have to come to the infield because when those lights weren't there and that green wall wasn't there,
Yeah.
you could open up the field because that wall, that the fence was collapsible. You could remove the fence.
Oh, okay.
So you used to play all that there was a soccer field. So they used to play there. The other place they used to play when I was born was in Grove, across from Brow Place,
Okay.
where the baseball field is.
Yeah.
That was a soccer ground too. They used to play
Wow.
soccer there
Crazy.
on the weekends. So I I trying to get the history of soccer in St. Croix and the Virgin Islands recognized and put back on the map because
Yeah.
a lot of people forget that in the 80s, St. Croix was a force to be reckoned with in the Leeward and Windward Island tournaments. And this was before the Caribbean Football Union was developed and before CONCACAF had come and started making their decisions on who was going to be part of the representation of the Caribbean. Um, because of our populace and we didn't have this big population, they wouldn't put the focus on us because small islands like the Carl and Minnows are not big money producing countries. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know too many other countries that are as proud as Virgin Islanders. And we probably have 6 times the population that we have on the islands right now that live around the world.
Yeah.
And they will support us if we put the product in front of them. But having that history and having the kids know that this has actually existed before some of their parents were actually born is something important,
Very
because
important.
that is something that used to drive us with baseball. Because one of my mentors growing up was Valmy Thomas. And Valmy Thomas and my father were really good friends. And
Okay. Oh,
Valmy always used to tell me, Valmy was like, Hayden, I know baseball is something that you might not be getting into to go into a next level, but find your sport. When he had seen me come back and I went to the shop, he had a shop there by Watergut. And he
yeah.
tell me, I went to buy a pants, baseball pants to go and play softball because I was tearing up my legs. Oh, he's like, oh, you're playing baseball again? I was like, no, I'm playing softball with St. Joseph. I said, okay, and then he found out what grade, and it was his tutelage and his advice to me helped me a lot when I was going into college. My father had actually put us in positions in front of people that had great knowledge of traveling and sports skills around. Harris Clark was one of my baseball coaches too. And
Nice.
my father was every Saturday. My Saturdays used to be Chera Heiliger. We used to go to the radio station to Chera show on WSTX. After that, we go back home, we go and eat, down to the soccer field after that. That was my weekend. That was my
Oh, wow.
Saturdays. Sunday was church and then football, church and then soccer. Or wait, church, Siam Farm to go and run ball, and then to the ground to go on and either watch my father referee or watch a game play.
Okay.
That and that's how and Saka been in the Virgin Islands for a long time, man. It's just we have such great talent in baseball and basketball that we tend to forget where
Yeah.
soccer actually falls in the landscape of sport.
Yeah. Kind of overshadow
Yeah,
shadow the history of soccer.
yeah,
It. Um. I remember as a kid, they used to have they used to play like a soccer league over across from Montreal.
yeah. Martin
Yeah.
Marietta.
Martin. Okay. Yeah. Martin Marietta.
So
I can remember.
yeah, that was part of the St. Croix Soccer Association. So that was actually my training ground with Rovers. Rovers used to train there during the week. So we used to train.
Okay.
What was it? Was it we did sometimes we'd do Monday to Thursday and then Friday off. But during the week we used to practice there.
That's good. That's nice, man.
That was our ground. Yeah. And my mother in the 70s, the field on the top by the ruins, they had a big field there. That was a hockey field. My coach,
Hockey.
yeah, field hockey.
Oh, field hockey. Okay.
Yeah. My coach that used to coach Caribbean United Cupid used to coach women's hockey. He was at Trinidad and Tobago Olympian playing hockey, field hockey. And he used to coach women on the top field playing hockey before he would coach us in soccer.
Oh, so they had like a women's hockey league.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
My
I mean,
sister,
field hockey league. Field hockey.
yeah, my sister and my mother used to play. And that was what, late 70s? Yeah.
Wow. I never
70s and
even know that.
80s. Yeah. Um, they were remnants of them goals because them goals were wooden goals and they were smaller than the soccer goals. And you used to be able to see them when you were driving on the road on the highway.
Wow. That's some history right there, man. I never even know that.
Yeah, man. That complex there has seen a lot of talent go through it. From track and field soccer and field
Yeah.
hockey. It's been insane.
Because I remember they used to have the Governor Youth games there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
They used to have the Governor Youth game. Because I remember
Yeah,
a couple of times I was there.
yeah,
They used to have like the relay races and all kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So
When you were growing up, they call it Vialco.
Vialco, yeah. Okay, that's that's what I remember. Vialco, yep.
When I
That's
when I
true.
was when I was young, it was Martin Marietta.
Yeah. I remember Martin Marietta, but growing up it was the Vialco, yeah. Wow, man, that's amazing, man. You even dropping some history on us too, man. That's for real. That past, that your parents told you about.
Yeah,
So
my father made sure that we understood the history of the sport, not only internationally but locally. And like Elmo Plaskett and them, we all I grew up with these guys around me, and
yeah,
that knowledge and that air and that dedication to sport transferred. It actually came into my livelihood, and it made my life a lot easier when it came into sport, because you have to remember when them man came up here and played ball, the kind of racism and stuff like that that they were facing.
yeah, that's true.
I remember Pittsburgh was a rough place to play baseball if you was a black
Yeah,
man. Then like I just see the other day they were talking about Roberto Clemente and that they're gonna be retiring his number in a couple days and in Pittsburgh, right?
oh, wow.
And I was like, man, I remember going up there and people asking me because they would hear me talk Spanish to a kid that was there from Argentina, and they were like, "Where you from, Puerto Rico?" And I was like, "No, my mother's Puerto Rican." "Oh, you are?" And then Roberto Clemente would come up in the conversation. But that part of the country, the Rust Belt is what that's called, right?
Yeah,
Was so racist and still has some issues with acceptance that it is sad. It is really sad.
yeah.
And I experienced it from from Penn State, from Penn State all the way to Chicago. I had experienced it
Wow.
when I went and played in a tournament in Bloomington, in Indiana, and we had win the game. And went. We wanted to go and celebrate after. Partner at the bar break my glass with a hammer. Said, "That's it. One drink, you out."
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. And watch me. Watch me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Oh
Hey,
my gosh.
the, you can't accept differences. You have to find. You have to find likenesses in people.
Yeah,
Share the love around the world, man.
yeah,
We grew up with some hardships with regards to prejudice, not racism. I'm not going to say racism, but just prejudice with regards to a person's status and stuff like that in society. And
yeah.
we talk a lot and narrow about other people, which is not healthy.
Not healthy
Instead
at
of
all.
instead of lifting each other up. But when we travel and we go and into the world and we see how racist society could be, it's eye opening, and it's sad. It's eye opening, and it to some people it would tear them down, but to me, I was like, nah, you're not holding me back. I going back. I coming back in 2 weeks for the next tournament, and I'll put 5 goals and I mother.
Yeah,
That's just how
it's
it
true.
was. I never
It's
let
true.
nobody push me down, man. I was small back then. When I went into college, I was a small man. My height right now is 5'9", bro. My brother get all the height.
Your brother got it, hey? Your brother, man.
But
Your brother wicked, man.
my hat,
Derek, man, come on.
Derek eat all the peanut butter and stuff to get it height.
Yeah. Well, we have a good question here. Was there any women's soccer teams or league in the VI?
None.
None.
My sister played soccer with St. Joseph men's team. Her I want to say her sophomore, junior, and senior year. My first year in St. Joseph, my sister was on the soccer team.
Wow.
Yep. So they didn't have any separation between boys and girls. There was no soccer team for women. We had one woman that was a referee in the 80s, and she stayed there for a few years, but women's soccer didn't develop until Joannis and them had help with AYSO. You see that AYSO was a good transition. Was let me see how I could say this without being stupid about it. The AYSO is a good structure with regards to implementing sport and soccer for the youths, right? Across gender, male and female. When when we stopped or when we put barriers between them kind of youth development programs and our national team, we hurt ourselves more than we help it. We should be helping each other and working with each other to develop our skills and our youth instead
Yeah,
of knocking them down. Because I don't care who is in charge of what. I don't care who is in the administration right now. But if you're not doing something positive for the kids and you're not doing something positive for my sport in the United States Virgin Islands, me and you gonna have a problem. That's just
that's
how it
true. It's true. It's
is.
true.
So
And it's funny you said that because when I got to the US, that's when I realized like we got to be more together, man. It's about the development. You could have you could have that competition, but the main factor, the most important thing should be the development. The
Development.
development. Everybody together and everybody develop. We could split apart and we could have some rivalries and have some games, but we have to come together and develop each other, man, because that's what we need, and that's what's gonna build that foundation, and that's what's gonna help us
Mhm.
when we go on to the mainland and go on to other countries and stuff. When you get there, you realize like, man, all that stuff wasn't worth it because it just wasn't that development you really needed.
It's insane because and Johannes had written something a couple of years ago that I had read, and it's true. And I think about, because of my background and my beliefs and stuff like that. When I look at sport is something universally, something internationally, that's a bonding agent. It brings people from different economic backgrounds, different races. Well, I don't think about different races because only human race exists.
Yeah,
But
true that.
different cultures and stuff like that. It brings those people together, right? Soccer is one of the sports that's more internationally grained into societies than a lot of sports.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Because if you go to a country with a population like India and you watch them when they're playing in the ICC and the cricket championships, you go to Brazil and you watch them in a World Cup, soccer World Cup, the country is shut down. Shut down.
Yeah, that's true.
Every man, woman, and child is watching their national country play. In this country, in the United States, it's not like that. In the Virgin Islands, we don't have that kind of luxury. We don't have, and I don't look at it as country luxury, but I look at it as national awareness. And when you're playing against other countries, and this is why you see people from other countries coming to games when they're in St. Croix or in St. Thomas. You see people from St. Lucia show up to games and hardly anybody from the VI there. You know
Yeah,
why? Because the national awareness is not there. Then people know that game happening because they know from down island from St. Lucia or Antigua that their team was going to be there. When did the people from the Virgin Islands find out about the game? Probably the night before the game. So how are they
yeah,
going to make the plans to go there? And that's part of communication, like we were talking about before.
yeah. It's true. You're right, and that's something that Tegan has echoed so many times.
Hmm?
You know, so many time about just the VI, the country backing the athletes. And like you
Yeah,
said, man, it is the lack of communication.
bro.
You know,
I'm telling you. And up here, I have the opportunity to have the communications come from different mediums. So when the Virgin Islands is going to play in an international tournament in Sarasota at IMG, I know. I'll find out if somebody is going to play in Western Florida. I'll go down there and watch a game. If they're playing in Orlando, guess what? That's 45 minutes from my house. I jump in the car and go in because I want to show the kids them that there's support from the Virgin Islands, first of all.
yeah,
Second, I want to see my product and where my product is from the times past.
that's true.
That's just love for my country from where I was born and the sport. And that's something I think a lot of Virgin Islanders have. But if they don't know that the game's coming up, then what you want? How you expect anything about it?
Yeah,
How you expect the support to be there?
yeah, that's true. That is so true. That's
And
true.
but yeah, let me get off
Uh,
my soapbox.
no, you good, man. You safe, man. That's what this is for. To bring awareness and open everybody's eyes, man. Start dialogue and conversation. Did we have a question here? Did they had other folks from home at Buffalo with you? Like throughout your years, did anybody else come up?
Yes. Okay. So before me, there was a guy that graduated from St. Joseph that I didn't even know he was in school there, Presmel Mason.
President Mason. Okay.
And he was there. My girlfriend had gone to Canisius, and so had another girl from Central, Michelle Leons. So three of us from St. Croix were there in my year when I was in college. So that helped a lot too.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, so that was part of the island contingency. So I used to go and make Johnny cakes and stuff like that, and I used to go and
Okay.
make the rice. So yeah,
Nice.
we make it like home. I was like, open the window and then the oil gonna burn your eye.
Yeah, you say you love to cook, so I see. That's nice, man. That's good.
So
You know,
it was good having them there, man, because
yeah, that's
it
awesome.
helped a lot.
That's awesome. We have another question. How was it? How was it like with your sister playing soccer? How was that experience with her with playing on the boys team in St. Joseph?
I used to worry for her, but she could handle her own.
Yeah,
We had a practice where she had hurt somebody on the team, which I was kind of worried about, but she went into the tackle full on, bro. My sister was no joke.
no joke, yeah.
Yeah, she still ain't no joke, but she,
Yeah.
she went into this tackle with Paul O'Neill, and Paul O'Neill ended up with this big blue and black mark 2 days later. And I was like, "What? You're trying to break the man's leg, and we need him for the game coming up." It was good. It was good having her on the team because it actually gave me the opportunity to have uh like a caring aspect on the game there.
yeah,
Not that I didn't care for it to begin with, but just having her there gave me that extra oomph so that I could get that energy out when I was on the field.
okay,
It helped. It helped a lot. It really helped a lot. When they left, I mean, they left after my freshman year, and a lot of weight had been put on my shoulders from sophomore to senior year. But you take care of what you got to take care of when stuff comes ahead.
yeah. I think it's I don't know, but I think it's amazing that you had to coach while going high school. Like
That's how it ended up. And I
I mean
and
that's
I used to work
amazing,
at
man.
job. I used to work at job too after school.
Wow.
If I used to work at Gigi's pet store in Sion Farm, and when we would have the practices coming, I would have to make sure that the fellas were ready right after school, get the practice done, jump in a jeep from the taxi from Santa Line and head up the road because I wasn't driving at that time.
It
And
was yeah.
go up Santa Line and go to Sion Farm from there and walk and then tired like a bum.
I
walk
could
my butt,
imagine, man. I could
walk
imagine.
my butt home depending on where the house was. So
Yeah.
but
How
yeah,
how did the players respond or respond to you being the coach?
at first with the first group, um, because they had the experience under Robert Turtle. We used to call him Turtle in the league. We it was hard for the first one. I said the first 2 weeks, and my adjustment was playing each one of them one on one to show them that I could boss you on the field. Listen to what he's saying,
Yeah.
and it wasn't to be to one up anybody, right? Because I had some better athletes on the team, but I ain't gonna stop playing. And when you think that everything gonna calm down, I gonna come back and raid the ball away from you, and I'll teach you a lesson. I'll bust you a nutmeg and make you feel like you was a fart in a bottle.
Yeah.
But it's pure love, and this is the thing. A lot of people and the story about me and Robert Joseph and why I didn't get a lot of playing time with Rovers when he had come on is we had played a game, a friendly before the season in Vialco. And I was going to play the front and play the first 45, 60 minutes of the game, and then he was going to put somebody in. And I know it was coming, but I was on the field and I threw away 3 goals, 2 wide open nets I threw away, and I was vexed.
Yeah.
And then he subbed me, and I went walking around, and I was vexed. I was piping mad, man. I was red mad. And I go and I come around the field, and I go and I kick the stand that was next to the track. I kick it twice,
Yeah.
and loud. And then he look, you mad because I take you off? I was like, no, and he didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear my explanation. The fact that I showed that kind of aggression and what you call it, ugly disposition after being taken off the field, he didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I understood it. And it wasn't until after after I had come back from getting hot and was going back to school that we had talked and I had explained to him what had happened that day. That I still don't think that he understood that I was mad at myself
Yeah.
for the stupidness I had do because I had give Hellenites a chance to beat us in that game.
Yeah.
So A lack of understanding or a difference of interpretation of a situation could always cause a problem. So him seeing that situation, he didn't want, he would put the other guys in front of me that came from country day that I used to beat up on the soccer field. He would put them in front of me, and I didn't take it. I tried to leave Rovers. I was trying to go to skills, but he would not release me to go and play for skills.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you know, you kind of you're I think we are liking as far as athletes, because you're one you super competitive, and I think
Yeah.
that you were so pissed off that you just, and just some athletes is just like that. And I think that's what gave a lot of athletes the edge, is that they put so much on themselves that they
Yep.
get frustrated, and they just have to take their frustration out, like kicking something or knocking on a water cooler, etc. Now,
Yes.
from a and from a distance, it's
It
like,
don't look good.
it doesn't look good. It's unprofessional. But sometimes you have to get to know the athlete to see where they're coming from, to understand them as an athlete. That's why, as a coach, you have to be universal, and you have to understand an athlete. Some athletes is just
You don't
wired
understand.
that way.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just wired that way.
I,
And you see,
I was a
well,
16-year-old kid.
yeah,
And you took that one instance of me losing my mind out of context without even speaking to me about it, just jumping all over me. And I understand my teammates, they stayed away from it because that's between the coach and myself. But
yeah,
in the same light, you know my disposition, you know the kind of person I am. I've never been a rude and disrespectful person to any coach I've ever had.
yeah,
And I think that is one of the things that pulled me up and away from everybody else when it came to soccer. I might not have been the most skilled person, but I was always a coachable person. And if
yeah,
you had the opportunity to give me the lessons and to take me aside and explain something to me, like, oh, I forgot to tell you, my speed coach, the guy that used to train me for speed, was from Central. His name was Cipriani Philip.
okay. Soprano Philip.
He was also the person that told me, Hayden, you have to bring down your anger and aggression so you could explode into the action that you have in front of you. After that man told me that, I was 16 years old. Yeah, I was 16 years old. After he told me that, my entire game in soccer changed. My
Change.
entire game in tennis changed. I stopped getting mad in the instant. Every time I would do something, it was a different scenario. Everything played off. It was a different chapter. If I went and played golf, I never used to get mad because I went and hit the ball stupidly and it went to the side.
Yeah, yeah,
Every shot is a tournament in my head. If I get this where it need to be, I gonna be good. When I get to the green, I know I'm knocking this freak down because that's me. I is pure ice cold when I get on the green. That's the same thing when I was in front of the goal. When the teams that put me in front of the goal put me in front of the goal, they knew that if I got the ball and I was one on one on anybody, that man shots dropping on the ground and the ball in the back of the net. That's just how it was. But you have to have, and I learned. Thank goodness I had learned that from Mr. Philip because I learned to separate the one situation from the entire life of the person's athletic prowess or their athletic performances.
yeah. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. You 16. It's just,
It was
that's why.
tough.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. Coaching is so important as a coach, man. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you are an adult, and sometimes you have to put yourself in the athlete's shoes. Sometimes you got
yeah,
to see it from their perspective. And then once you see it from their perspective, sometimes you got to have that conversation with an athlete so they could see it from your perspective.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
yeah,
You always have to step out of your shoes
always.
and take a couple steps in another man's shoes to see exactly what they're seeing. You can't continually do stuff from your side, your side, your side, and then expect stuff to fall in place. It don't work that way. That's just not how life does. Sport is a reflection of life. You do that in real life, guess what happens? You run into roadblocks and you end up hurting yourself.
It's true.
So
It's so true.
that's just how it is. So
Yeah.
I never, I didn't hold it against him because I was at a point where I was about to leave the island anyway, and I
Yeah.
knew I was leaving the island regardless.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere to do something with what I love. But I felt bad because I thought I could have done more with Rovers than I did when I was young. And maybe, and I'm planning, I want to go back home. I want to go back home and help that team and build that team back up. But
Yeah.
I want to go back home and build soccer back to what it used to be because we have too much talent back home to not have the level of performance and the level of competition that we used to have before.
Yeah, that'd be something beautiful, man. That'd be something beautiful. It just, sports, soccer, basketball, baseball, it just needs to be built up in the Virgin Islands. I think, people don't realize like it's a US territory, we an island. It's
Hmm.
so much people don't realize like it's so much teams and like, you could do so much on the island.
Yeah,
You could host, once you got the infrastructure right and you have the arenas and the areas and stuff. Once everything is built up the right way, you could host like great
international tournaments. Yeah,
tournaments. World Cup qualifiers. Olympic. Qualifier tournaments and stuff. You could host tournaments. You could
yeah.
have a lot of stuff. There's so many opportunity.
So
Baseball, spring training could
yeah,
extend. It's
exactly.
so much stuff that is so much opportunity.
So
It
that
being
that
a oh, go ahead, go ahead.
that soccer stadium that they put there is a good thing that happened, right?
Yeah,
But I still believe St. Croix should have three soccer fields: West, Central, and East. I always believe that, just like baseball, because when I was growing up,
yeah.
one of the top teams was in Profit, was in Matruchal, Expos.
Expose, yeah. That's true.
We just leave out the middle of the island too much. The other thing, what happened to Pali Joseph? What's the plans with that? I heard about Arthur Richards the other day, and I was happy about it.
Yeah,
But where is the plans again for Pali Joseph Stadium? Where's the development? When is that going to happen? Why are we still dragging our feet?
yeah.
I don't understand. I thought the money was already there. So where the heck did the money disappear to? So all these conversations need to be happening and need to be ignited with people that have passion like Tegan and them and you
Yeah,
and Pang. It has to happen, and things have need to be done to change things around because, like I said before, idle minds is a dangerous thing for youth, and
it's
you're
true.
seeing it with the deaths in St. Croix right now.
It's true. It's true.
So,
You know.
some the Haitian story. Let me get to that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I
so
know that one.
when we went to Jamaica to play. When I met up with a team in Miami to play in Jamaica, half of that team was from half. Let's see, nine. There's about 9 or 10 players were from Haiti, right? And while we were in the locker room in Kingston, the coach wasn't happy, and he take this glass bottle and fling it to the ceiling, and the ceiling is concrete, and it went. And in his English, in his Brazilian English, he's like, "What you doing? I don't understand where the football has disappeared. I will send you back to Haiti as soon as we get to San Martin." Why he said that, man? Why he said that? So
Oh
we re-
gosh,
we reached Miami, there, man.
problems.
We reached Miami, and in them days, they didn't have no barrier to the gate. Now you have to go through TSA to get to the gate, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And then now you can't get outside to where you would go to the street and stuff like that. That just don't exist. That didn't exist back then. Yeah, this is 92, 92, 92. This is why these man like, oh, we waiting by the desk for BWIA to come and pick us up. And I do so. And I see my partner Toe. And Toe come by and he give me a hug and he's like, "Salut." And he just do salut. And he gave me the peace sign salut. And I was like, "Salut, where the hell you going?" And he just walked off and he went through the door. And I went behind him and I look outside, partner gone.
Wow.
All the taxi drivers outside were Haitian. All the taxi drivers. He disappeared. Three other partners disappear. Bags left on the ground. We end up
Wow.
going back to St. Martin with six people. Six people. Only two Haitians had stayed with us to go back because they had family in St. Martin. He
Damn.
dismantled the team, brother, by just making that one statement.
That one
Yeah.
statement.
And all of them, and I didn't blame them. The man said, "Oh, we get back to St. Martin, he gonna send us to Haiti again." And I come here. I went to St. Martin for about gone, and they disappear. And just like that, bro.
Just like
So
that.
when I went up to Buffalo, To called me. To had called me because I had given my number in Buffalo in Glendale Place. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey, then I'm sorry that we just picked up." And I was like, "Listen, you good, you know. You did what you had to do for yourself and your
Yeah.
livelihood. I don't blame you. That's life, the man." And he's like, "Yeah, but coach." I was like, "Yeah, coach is coach. You know how it's gonna be. But you do what you have to do, man. I hope I see you." And I saw him before I had moved on to Florida. I haven't seen him since. But that bro empty the friggin' team. Because most of them men were from French St. Martin. There was only a couple of us that were on the Dutch side. And the ones that were on the Dutch side were part of the Ajax Football Academy. So I was like, oh God, here we go again.
That's crazy. So then he just stayed. So he stayed in Miami.
That man, he ended up in New York City.
Wow.
Half of them, they had jumped in taxi cabs and just dispersed throughout the country.
And damn, wow.
Yeah, they defected. They disappeared,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Wow.
We had to grab their bags and take it on the plane.
That- that's man.
Yo, a
That's
lot of
crazy.
people don't know that story. I was so vexed because our team was looking nice. And boy, they really played garbage against Kingston that night though. It looked like something was already on their mind. So
Yeah.
but
It's that's kind of powerful, man, because it's like his words were so powerful to them. You see, like how you
Mhm.
tell the story, and I'm laughing,
Yeah,
but like to them, that's like life.
you
Like it's
don't.
like, nah,
Yeah,
I'm not going back. Even though
you
the
know,
coach might not really mean, well, I don't know if he meant it or not, but or he was just saying out of frustration, but
mhm.
that's their life. Like, nah, we can't go back. And
I don't
like
know. I don't know if you ever been to Haiti, but when we went to Haiti, I went to Haiti twice, and this was before the earthquakes, right?
yeah,
I don't understand how we allow people in the Caribbean to suffer and live the way life was happening in Haiti before the earthquakes. So imagine now after
yeah,
all the damage happened, how people in Haiti suffering, and we don't see it anywhere. We don't see it in no media or nothing like that, right?
yeah.
And they want to play the blame game here and the blame game that. But listen, the Caribbean community has also abandoned Haiti. It's not
True.
just the Americans.
It's true because a lot of people make fun of he. A lot of people make fun of the country. Even the Caribbean people them and stuff. Which is sad. Like you said, if the whole have abandoned. And
Yeah.
what's funny is that just I want to say maybe 2 years ago I read a book. I
Mm.
was home visiting my mom in back home at St. Croix during the carnival time, and I was reading a book about Haiti, and I read the book, and it was just talking about Haiti and how rich Haiti was and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
what ended up happening that made Haiti to be where it is and stuff, and it's just sad. It's like they run, some countries run Haiti into the ground,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and
And
it's
internal
sad
internal
that too.
internal greediness.
Yeah,
Internal greediness. And it's the same way like right now I won't go to the Dominican Republic anymore. I used to like to go there. I won't spend a dime there no more because I seen firsthand how they treat Haitian people that live there.
that's
And I
true.
don't I don't
True.
appreciate it. That's still your brother and sister from over the mountain. You don't act better than them because you talk a different language or because you look some kind of way. Come now, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's something that's been going on for so many years
For
between
years.
those two countries, and
Yes.
it's pretty bad. A lot of wickedness that
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in the Caribbean don't realize how serious that
Nope.
situation is between those two countries,
People
and the way
have no
how
clue.
yeah they have no clue, and the way how Haitians have been treated by them.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. That's
And I love Haiti. Haiti is a real pretty country if you go outside of Port-au-Prince. is a real pretty country. They have a lot to give to the world. But until we come together, Caribbean people need to come together and help them rebuild their structure, man. It is sad that we yeah, we look at America and what happened with whoever was doing what. I don't care about that. We still have means with regards to the Caribbean countries that exist, and France itself has a hand in helping rebuild that country, because
Yeah.
that is the first independent black country on this side of the world, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't even think twice about it most of the time. I
Yeah.
remember David Rudder's song when I just think about Haiti all the time.
It's tough, man. It's sad,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyway.
So, but man, that story is crazy.
Mm.
Like, besides what's the I forgot his name that called you. What's his name?
So so
To.
yeah.
So what about the
His
other
name
play?
is Apto Sifia. I
Up
can't
to
remember his
something.
I can't remember his last name for real, but it start with a Sefia, something like that. But he's still up in New York, man. The
That's
rest
good.
of them, the rest of them, no, I ain't hear nothing from them. Nothing.
You know, do you always think about that?
Yeah, I had to think about them a lot.
The reason I asked you is because, like, I know you mentioned earlier that with sports you build a relationship with so many players, from different countries. And that's why I asked you if you think
Yeah,
about it a lot, because it's like,
yeah,
you because when you play sports, like, each season or whatever is like an experience. You will always think about it, and that experience you have with that group. And it's like, man, that's the
and it,
last time you saw them is because of that situation right
yeah.
there, which is that's kind of really, really touching and scary at the same time.
At that
You
time,
know,
at that time, I was the only American on the team. Just think about that. Yeah, I'm from St. Croix, but I am American. So they were looking at me like, oh, okay, so you're American, you probably don't have no skill and stuff like that. But after the first couple of weeks, the man welcomed me with open arms and were having me in their house with their family, and we were sharing meals and stuff like that. I had lots of good experiences with them, man. And I think about them a lot because I don't know where none of them man end up. And after I had speak to Toda one time, I ain't hear back from the man. But that's life. That's life.
so
And
they left their families in St. Martin too,
they
right?
left. Some of them left the
Wow,
families completely in St. Martin.
man, that's tough. That's tough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
and they probably somewhere up here, but who knows?
Who knows, man? Who knows? That's tough, man. Wow, that's a crazy story, man. That story is pretty deep to me. To me,
Yeah.
that's pretty deep. So,
We don't know people's struggles, man. We don't
yeah, man.
understand. We don't understand. We look at St. Croix and we look at things that happen in the community in St. Croix. We live in up here in Florida, and we look at how things are going here. But we don't realize, like, right across the water, way in the Bahamas, people still struggling from Irma and the hurricanes and them, and we don't pay that no mind. We don't pay that no mind, and it's sad. We have inert responsibility to people that we should be taking care of each other. We should be looking after each other and having each other's best interests. I don't care where they come from, but you are never gonna see me look over somebody unless I'm giving my hand to pick them up.
Yeah.
And that kind of mentality has escaped a lot of our generations, our last two generations. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And I think that's why we're in a position we are right now. Like I was telling my brother, that we become morally bankrupt when you look at things the way they are right now. Because
It's a good way
I
to put it.
I think that if we would stop with the selfishness, we would make better decisions for everybody, and it trickles down. That's
It's
just how
true.
just how I look at it.
That's true. It should be the each one teach one mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it should be. It's funny you said that because I just saw a little clipping of Baman, and he was talking. He was like, if I can't help someone with my life, then what's my life what? He's like, I if it's just for me, I
Yeah,
don't want. He said, I don't want my life.
yeah,
My life is to give and help and teach and help one another. That's my life. It's funny you
yeah,
said that because I just saw that today with
yeah.
Bob Marley.
My father always used to do things for the betterment of people around him. And when I think of wealth and when I think of the richness of life, I think that my contributions and the way I implemented things and gave myself to other people should be a representation of what I see back to me. Like I always tell my friends and I tell my family, you could tell me that I'm a good man and you could tell me that I'm a bad man, but whatever you tell me is a reflection of what you did in return because I'm
Yeah,
only reflecting what was given to me to begin with.
give it to you.
That's why
Yeah,
look at everybody that's around or anybody that has been watching and I don't even know. I haven't even seen who's been watching, but anybody that's been watching will let you know and they will tell you I give from my toe to my here at the top of my head.
yeah,
And I put my efforts like that because at the end of the day, when my head hit the pillow, I want to be able to rest when I sleep in because my conscience is clean and I will do everything I can for the people I have around me. And if new people come in my life, I give them the support that they need. You don't ever start with an empty bucket with me. I'll always give you a full bucket. It's up to you to empty it.
yeah. That's true.
Mhm.
That's true. Do you like do you go and speak to like teams or anything like that?
I talked to some high school players. I used to be a mentor for young soccer players that were going abroad from
Okay.
different countries, going into Europe, but that stopped about a year, 2 years ago. Um, I might start back up doing it again. I might start going to high schools and talking to kids, but I really want to put my energy since my sons are about to leave the home. They're seniors in high school now. There's twin boys I have.
Oh, twin
So,
boys. Oh
yeah,
man.
so they're seniors in high school this year.
Oh, nice man.
I
Nice.
want I want to make I want to do something to give back to St. Croix and the Virgin Islands because I know St. Thomas and St. Croix are always at ends. Me being up here might give me the advantage of spreading my knowledge and spreading the understanding of traveling abroad to a bigger audience from home than if I was just in St. Croix.
Yeah. Yeah. You I'm trying to think from because you're the 30th guest that we have had on, and I
Mhm.
think you and Rico Canario, both of you guys, man, you guys have
Rico is a historian.
yeah, you got
He have a
yeah,
lot of knowledge,
you
man.
have a lot, man.
Yeah,
It'd be amazing for you guys to it'd just be amazing for you guys to talk, man, and for people to listen to you guys, people involved in the sports, people involved in the territory, just
hmm
to hear you guys experience, because you have a rich history too, just like you said, your parents made sure you guys know the history,
yeah,
and see when Rico, he has a lot of history, and he's like speaking to you and speaking to him is like you guys gave me so much history that I never knew. Like,
yeah,
and I know that a lot of people that's watching too, they learn a lot. And it's like, and I think you traveling to many different countries and playing with so many different people from so many different backgrounds and different cultures
hmm
and stuff, it helped you a lot too, man. It's amazing, you
yeah.
know.
You use things that are given to you to build the person that you want to be.
Yeah,
And luckily for me, I learned from a young age that the differences is not what makes life worth living. Find the likeness and then learn the difference because
yes, yes,
the difference might come from necessity and the difference might come from an absolute urge. So when you find that likeness in another person, you could go a longer way. And I think that's why the brotherhood that I have with a lot of the players that I have played with in the past and the family feel that I have with my friends around the world. That's why we stay together and the commonality is so good. And we have that kind of connection because the likeness is what I was more attracted to then learn more about them and use that knowledge in my life. So you had Mona on, pastor,
Yes.
and I grew up a Catholic. I grew up Roman Catholic. I went to St. Joseph. I went to St. Patrick's, St. Joseph, and when I was in St. Martin, I went to Sister Magda's, and Catholic school there too. And I was a Catholic until I was a sophomore in college, and then my perception of Catholicism had changed because of the treatment that I had received when I was in college. And
Okay.
then I was attracted to Buddhism, and I became a practicing Buddhist for a long time. So split in half how long I was a Catholic and how long I was a Buddhist, right?
Yeah.
But then with my travels around the world, I found that because of where I was born and raised, you can't be 100% from any other kind of culture's religious affiliation, right? Because of your inert knowledge and your experiences of when you were growing up. So I no longer are, I'm a Christian. I'm an agnostic person, for lack of a better word, but I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in the humanity and the spirituality of each person and how powerful that spirituality and message could be for everybody. And listening to the pastor speak brought a lot of light to me, and that you guys are doing a great job. You have a great forum. You're giving an excellent message, a really positive message, and I hope that the youth front of Virgin Islands get an opportunity to see what you guys are putting out on the internet. The YouTube channel, having a YouTube channel there is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Keep doing your work, keep plugging away. Don't ever feel like you can't reach out to me personally. If you have questions, if you want to find out something, let me know.
Yeah.
If you have a doubt about something that was said, let me know. I is an open book. I don't hide. Like my father said, I don't put water in my mouth for nobody. If I gonna tell you, I gonna tell you.
Yeah. True. It's
So,
true.
but the way we are and the way we have been in the Virgin Islands to each other from the time I was born to now has changed so dramatically that it makes me worried for the generations that are coming up. So
It's true.
maybe we need to go back to religion base with regards to getting kids through that part of their life, but we have to make sure that the message is consistent, positive, and strong, because our families were very strong with us when we were growing up.
It's true.
And if we step out of line, everybody down the line, Miss Ross was coming on top of me, Miss
Yeah.
Nolan was coming on top of me, Miss Marshall was coming on top of me, Miss
It's true.
Terry
That's what it
and them.
was.
Terry and them mother was our anthem, man. She would share licks across the board. But we have to make that message known, and that I think is lacking, and I think that is what is missing the family vibe with the sports. That's what's missing, and that kind of growth needs to come back to the sports in the Virgin Islands.
It's true. That's true. Well said, man. That's true, man. That's true. I think it's funny you speaking because your experiences, like when you kind of touched on the religion and then your experiences shape how
Mhm.
it shaped you, is the same way how it shaped me, because it's just you realize that it's so much more, it's so much more, and just the humanity is just
Yeah.
is was the most important thing,
Hmm.
you know. So it's that's why sports is so important,
Yeah.
playing sports and being able to experience so much things that you never thought you would get to experience.
Right.
The wall is like we always say it's a small wall, but in reality is a large wall, man. It's a large
Yeah.
wall, and it's so much you can learn, man, that could
Too
shape
much.
you,
Too much. In
Yeah,
this lifetime, the lifetime we have is a speck in time, man, and we just have to learn what we could learn. But we need to
it's
do it
true.
in the right way and find the right positivity to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Someone asked a question real quick.
Yeah.
Did you? I think you said your son played soccer, right? Did your sons play soccer?
Yeah. Trevor plays soccer. Yeah.
Okay,
He
so
he actually was called, went down and tried out for the U17s, and then he got called up for the U20s. he I guess sick in the first round when they were playing the qualifiers up here, and then when he went to Nicaragua, it looked like he had twitched his hamstring a little bit.
Ooh.
But he doing good. He actually playing better right now. He was born like me with a ball at his foot, and I
Okay.
never force him to into soccer. I always try to get him to do like golf or go and play some baseball and stuff like that. But he actually had liked it a lot. Like my father had teach me. My father never really was pressure me to go into soccer, unlike a lot of parents would. He made me make the decision because my mother was mad at me. My mother wanted me to be a golfer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mother wasn't happy at all. My mother Puerto Rican. My mother wanted me to either play baseball or golf.
He's like, okay.
But I tell her, Mom, when I went to college, the man, I was on a foul team. I went and played foul ball. The man tell me I was too short. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, he only was picking 6 footers to play on the team, Mom. He cut me on a Dominican dude. I was like, that's just how it is.
That's
I
how
have
it
to
is,
go. I
yeah.
have to go where the sport where the sport push me.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Which part of Puerto Rico your mom from?
my mom's family is from Vieques and Rio. I want Derek to correct me. Is it Rio Bajo?
Rio
Derek,
Piedras?
nah, not Rio Piedras.
Oh.
Fajardo.
Oh, Fajardo. Okay,
And then
Fajardo.
and then in the interior, there's another city, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Interior.
Derek
Like,
will correct me.
well, like Caguas or something? No?
I can't remember. It is Rio Bajo or something like that. Somewhere in the
Okay.
interior, yeah. But yeah, my mother family. My mother actually was born in Sandy Point. My great grandmother used to own the ranch used to be on Sandy Point. That used to be
Wow.
their old stomping grounds. So yeah, my family been in St. Croix for a long time,
Long
man.
time.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's
yeah.
awesome.
My,
Golf.
ma- my fa- golf. That's what she wanted me to
Your
play.
mother's smart. That's a sport.
She was
Hey,
smart. That's a
she's
money
smart.
sport.
Yes, it's money sport. It don't
Yeah,
take that much toll on your body, you know.
I should have
Easy, relaxing.
stupid me going with passion instead
Yeah.
of smarts. And
Yeah.
my father's from Trinidad, from Woodbrook in
Woodbrook.
outside in Port of Spain. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he come from a big family, big sport family
Big
too.
soul family.
And he played cricket and soccer in Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice, nice. So you said Trevor plays soccer. What, and your other son, he knows no
Lan-
sports?
Landon is a artistic person. He does
Okay,
art,
nice.
graphic art, and he was the one that started the esports team in Armwood. So he doing those tournaments now. So
Okay.
yeah, he
That's
had.
one of the fields to be in right now, brother.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? You doing what? And then I went and watched a tournament and I was like, damn, this is competitive.
Yeah, it's only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
And one of my nephews was really good at it. But now he's at USF studying. So I don't know
Okay.
if he's playing any tournaments right now.
So we always ask
Mm,
the guests these questions. So I want you to give me your top five favorite, your personal favorite soccer players in the Virgin Islands,
mm.
and then your top five favorite soccer players worldwide. You know.
Okay. Ooh, wow. Um, Number one, I gonna always put my father because my father was a good goalkeeper and a good striker. So I always put Bobby Wills up there. So him. Actually, let's keep the family apart. But my father and my brother was bad soccer players. My brother was a really good goalkeeper, but he was also good on the field. Um, Maki, that's number one. I'm gonna go 1 to 5.
Okay,
So Maki Taylor,
Mackie
senior,
Taylor, senior.
because when I knew him and when I played alongside him, we were both strikers. We were both up front. Um, in the younger generation right now, they know him as a defensive player. They don't know how good he was up front and his speed and his smarts when he was up front. So Maki is one. I will go with what this fella name is. One of the best defenders I had ever known was Yasso. He used to play for Africa United. That man, yes, he was a
Yes.
beast. He was a wall. He was a wall. Terry Jones, hands down, that's my goalkeeper for life. I love that man like a brother. We traveled to Denmark. It even made the brotherhood a lot stronger. What's that tree?
Yeah,
Uh,
three, two more.
Johannes Wardy, my midfielder, the captain, the man, the myth, the legend, the legend of Rovers. The man, I really appreciate Johannes and his work with the kids too. That is legendary. That is somebody that put their imprint on soccer in St. Croix.
Okay.
Um, that's what, four?
Yeah, four.
Yeah, man, only five, eh?
You could go 10 if you want. You could go 10 because, like you said, we don't. You the first soccer, you know, representative. So if you
Yeah.
want to go 10, you could go 10 and show some more love to other players that should be, recognized.
Okay.
It's up to you.
I'm gonna say okay. I'll go to 10. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
definitely.
Hera, Hera, who used to be the captain for Santos when I was playing. He was really a good player, and I learned a lot about body movement and control from him. But just watching him play, Hera, he's still in St. Croix. The other one that I would say, the other goalkeeper that I would always remember is Whalen. Whalen have a jewelry store in St. Croix, and I can't remember the name of the jewelry store. Sharon put it up there because I can't remember it. But Whalen was a really good goalkeeper for Caribbean United. Um, Glenn, that was in the picture with me there. Glenn had some serious touch. And a lot of people talk about Messi and the weight of the ball, putting the ball in front of the man, darting to the goal. Glenn was the reason why Unique had won a lot of games that I had seen because he just had that vision. Cole One is one of my all-time favorites.
Whole one.
Cole
Okay.
One. I never see, I to this day, I don't know of another player that actually calmed the game down like he did. And he would bring the level down so much that it looked like the game was being played in slow motion. But damn, that touch was insane, bro. I I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Very, very good. Yeah, Glenn, was that
She said Glenn
our
Bernard is her
yeah,
cousin. Yeah.
good, great soccer player. And what number am I? You don't even know.
That's eight, I want to say. Seven or eight. Yeah, yeah. Seven or eight. But hey,
Another striker, I
yeah,
don't give you a striker. Mitch that used to play for Africa United was one of my favorite because of his speed. And the one soccer player from my dad's generation that I would talk about is Howie, Alex Howie. And Alex Howie was a Vietnam veteran, but he's from Trinidad too, like my father, and they played together. And I saw Mr. Howie play some games that really thrilled. That I was amazed at how he could compose himself on the field in pressure situations. Oh, but I can't forget two people. I
yeah.
can't forget Mania.
Mania Lake.
Mania was a force to be reckoned with in the middle of the field as a defensive midfielder, and he also could distribute the ball good. But Trevor Liebert, Trevor's son playing in Denmark now. Trevor's son just got his first cap in a game in Denmark. When was it? A couple of weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Trevor Liebert was one of the most calm players that I have ever seen. I never see a small man dive and head a ball with so much pace in my life. He used to like that diving header. He's man, Trevor was incredible, and I really appreciate. That's another one that I need to see him before anything else. We've lost a lot of good soccer players over the years, and it kind of bothers me that I never get a chance to go back and talk to some of my partners. Them.
Yeah.
But I got to speak to the core of the team that I used to play with, and that Beck's team that we used to play with. Man, we went to Puerto Rico a few times and ball up the place. That central team that I had played with when I went over there. That team was one of the best soccer teams in high school I had ever seen. At the same time when Andy and them were playing basketball at Central, and that freaking 3 years that Central had teams, they dominated sports so bad it was insane.
It's
It didn't
crazy.
make a difference what sport it was, man. And remember, we didn't have no complex back then. It was just Central.
Central, yeah.
So they had man that still was good that wasn't playing no
Wasn't
sports.
yeah, that's true.
So
Wow.
just imagine that. But yeah, that's my 10. My favorite international soccer player is always going to be Pele.
Pele, okay.
Pele. Yeah.
Legend.
Um, I always Bill Shankly from Liverpool is my legend. My The man come from a small town that don't even exist anymore
Oh
in,
wow.
in Scotland. A small town where six people from his family actually played in the Premier League.
Jeez.
That town reminds me of St. Croix and the Virgin Islands when it comes to athletic prowess and athletic talent. Dwight York, because me and Dwight used to go back and forth when we were younger, but Dwight had left to go to play at Aston Villa before I had gone to. No, while I was in college, he had gone to Aston Villa in '91. I want to say so. The year before, I had ended up at SSM Planters. Um, and where am I going? Where else? Who else? I always had respect for Cruyff from Holland. I always loved the Dutch team. Always from small because I grew up in St. Martin for a little bit, so
Yeah, so
that's
yeah,
I see the
get
Dutch
that.
team.
Yeah.
But I always loved that, and I still have some partners, like Roy and those guys that played for Holland. So it's I always love watching that game. But my favorite team is Liverpool. My favorite team in Europe is Liverpool. My favorite team in Holland is Ajax, and my favorite team in Germany is Dortmund. Because one of my roommates from college was a Dortmund second division coach and player. I stopped looking at Spanish football because I just think there's only three teams in Spain anyway.
Treat.
I I gonna hear noise for that later.
Yeah, yeah. We hear it. We got Derek saying boo, Liverpool.
Oh, he's a Manchester fan. I went
He's a
against the
man.
family with that, the man.
Oh, you went against a family?
Yeah, yeah. My
Okay,
family is
okay.
Manchester. Yeah, I was a Liverpool man when I was like 7. My aunt gave me a ball that said Liverpool on it, and that was it.
That was it, huh?
That was it. I
So
was in love.
so Derek, be mad at the ant. Is the ant
Yeah,
fault?
yeah,
Is your auntie fault? Yeah.
yeah.
Is there any soccer players from back home that passed away that you know about that you want to like kind of say their name just just a kind of a sign of respect? I'm not sure if there's any, just in case because they're not here to kind of tell the
That
story
passed
or anything.
that passed away. I can't think of a name that passed away
Okay,
except for coaches like Mr. Cupid.
okay,
Like right now, another coach that was really instrumental in my development in St. Croix was Jackie Lane.
Jackie Lane. Okay,
Jackie Lane. He was really really good with me when I was a sophomore in high school. He took me aside and helped coach me with some technical skills. Yeah, Cupid passed away, and that was hard on me because that was my real mentor in soccer.
yeah,
The other coach that was trying to get me to go to Trinidad to play for Trinidad was Jap Brown. His nickname was Jap, but his last name was Brown. He was a coach in Trinidad, and he wanted me to represent Trinidad because he knew Dad. He passed away. Who passed away recently? There was a couple that might have passed away that I can't come to mind.
yeah.
But I think of Mr. Luke Frederick, who was a referee, an official for the first VI Federation.
Okay,
He was also a member of the board for the St. Croix Soccer Association and one of the head of referees, I believe, back in the day. Mr. Frederick was a really strong influence to a lot of the people I know that went to St. Mary's, and he helped develop the love of sport for a lot of kids. Who else? I don't know.
Yeah,
And Harris Clark is the one that stands out in my mind. I think about sports people. I always think I'm thinking about JD and Jeff all the time.
yeah,
I grew up. I play with Jeff. I play with Jeff on SBS. So um, my heart to them.
yeah, definitely,
I
yeah,
could never understand the loss of a parent, or I hope I don't have to do that for a couple more years. But they've experienced the loss of both the mother and the father, and their mother was very special to me. She took care of me when I was in St. Patrick's. She used to pull me out of some serious stupidity that uh, I would find myself in.
yeah,
Miss Hilda was something else, but I love that woman like one of my family, man. And Harris Clark was a gem. Harris Clark just the knowledge that he instilled about baseball was just you couldn't find that anywhere in any book, in any video that you would look up online. That's just the truth. That's the honest to God truth. Saka, just like I just want to see my brothers and them back home gain their footing.
yeah.
Oh, my sister just said Kaji. Kaji used to play with us. Kaji disappeared on us and went and worked in Bahrain back in
Oh,
the 80s and 90s, and he ended up in New Orleans, and he passed away recently as well. Kaji used to play for Caribbean United. Um, and but yeah, man, nothing but love for my people back home.
yeah, definitely, man. Much love to the, for all the ones them that passed away. Condolences to all the family. Definitely,
Yeah,
So definitely. So I was gotta try and keep the name, alive,
yeah,
and
yeah.
definitely.
I always tell, because we've gone through a lot of loss recently, and I always tell my friends and my family who have experienced loss, just remember that they don't really die completely. They always live inside of you
Yeah.
because the memories and the love that you have for them, as long as you are around and you instill in that love and you have them memories with you, there's always alive.
Yes, I was gonna live on.
Yeah.
Yep. Always. That's true.
Yes, sir.
That's true. Do any I asked this question earlier and I forgot to ask you, which position was your favorite position to play on the soccer field?
The number 10. I used to like to play center mid.
Center mid?
Yeah.
No. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
No.
gonna ask you, like, no, I don't know how many people watching know soccer and know the positions. I don't know all the positions in the soccer field. So can you
Right.
kind of how many positions does it have?
Is 10 on the field and the goalkeeper.
Tennessee.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you could have if you break it down, you could break it in quadrants. So or the defenders, goalkeeper, defender, midfield, and forwards. But I always like to be in the midfield because I always had that battery. I always could run. I never used to get tired. When I used to work out, and a lot of people, I from West, I used to run on the beach. we
Okay.
run on the soft sand. So I always used to have big legs, and I always used to run for hours and never get tired. So um, the midfield was always my favorite because of the distribution of the ball. I always used to like to see the end result of my play. When I used to play up front, don't get me wrong, I used to like to bust the goal and make the net bulge.
Yeah.
But I always appreciated the artistic value of a pass. I always appreciated the control of a game you could have playing in the middle of the field and making the decisions that would make the difference in the game. The midfield to me was a lot more, and I think this is why a lot of people had seen me more. That they thought I was gonna be a good father because I used to take care of the ball good. I never used to lose the ball stupid. So
Yeah.
they would say, "Oh man, you're gonna be a great dad." I was like, "What the hell does that have to do with this game?" But
Ah,
no, but
uh,
I actually appreciate the midfield a lot more. That's why I always had that massive respect for Glenn Cole one when he became a midfielder. I always had that massive respect for him. Trevor, those guys, I always used to look up to them because they always had that brush that could put that change on the game, that put that signature, their signature on the game. That I appreciate. I always
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I love my strikers, no doubt. And now you're seeing that defenders could pass the ball good. If you look at a lot of international soccer, you'll see it. But there's just something about somebody that runs all game long and could still make a decision with a level head.
Well, okay. Oh, your sister said IB design is
Yeah,
Wayland's story.
that's Wayland's story. Yeah, IB design.
So we have a question here. How many goals you scored? Have you scored?
Don't know.
You don't even know.
So I don't even know if St. Joseph had keep records back then, but I used to terrorize Good Hope until the coach until Dolphin during a game tell me no, you need to go in the back because our defense getting killed. I was like, but we're going back and forth. It's okay.
Yeah,
All,
yeah.
all they need to do is stop one goal and we win. Well, yeah, but I let me see. Freshman year, I think I only had 2 goals because they had better older men playing on the team. Joe and Teddy Prince was a goalkeeper. Ralston Pemberton from Rotating Equipment and from the radio station in Gallows Bay. Ralston was on that team in St. Joseph. It had a good team. My sophomore year, I think I scored 18 goals. Yeah, 18 goals. Junior year, 20 something. And senior year, forget it. Hugo year, Hayden
Yeah.
memory for that year don't exist. When I went abroad, I had scored quite a few goals, but I had a lot more assists than goals because they actually had liked me more in that number 9 position behind the forwards.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have another question here. Does it have a goal that stand out to you most?
the one in Jamaica in Montego Bay.
Okay.
Again, I was a shot man compared to the defenders and stuff like that. And nobody expect the small white boy to jump up over the defense and head the ball in the corner of the net. And I take it out of the air and just knock it in the corner. The poor goalkeeper looked like he was gone dead because the goal score. But yeah, that goal stand out to me more than any of them.
Did you ever play in Colombia?
I played in Barranquilla in a tournament, and I went to Cali for a friendly that get canceled because they had some kind of shoot up outside the stadium.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked that is because I remember watching something with Pablo Escobar and the goalkeeper, so and then
Yeah.
he's never been seen again or whatever. But so it's
so
crazy.
so yeah, the one man that used to play here in Tampa Bay is Colombian that I used to have massive respect for too. Carlos Valderrama. The man had the big
Okay.
afro, the big blonde afro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Colombian. He used to play here. He actually still used to live here when we were playing with Caribbean strikers up here. The,
Wow.
the the man used to come and he see Derek. He's like, oh, that goalkeeper in Spanish. That goalkeeper is huge.
Uh,
It's like, that's my brother. He's like, what happened to you? He's like, look at him and look at you. I was like,
yeah.
you have to go there, man. You
Yeah, I know,
might
right?
hide.
Yeah, man. You have to go there, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's funny. It's just the way things go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, is there any shout outs you want to give any family members? I know you mentioned your kids and stuff. Anybody, friends?
Well, first and foremost, I want to tell my father thank you for the putting us in a position to appreciate our sport without the pressure. For me, I don't know how it was for Derek because, like I said, we're 7 years apart.
Yeah.
But for me, the pressure was not there with regards to going into soccer. I just made the decision on my own. I fell in love with the sport after going to Trinidad for a holiday and going and playing in the savannah with my cousins and them. And then I came back home and I was like, I playing with Caribbean United next year. And he allowed me to do it. They allowed me to travel with the teams at my young age. The man used to go drinking and stuff like that, and I would be up in the room in the dorm or in the hotel somewhere. So, Dad, thank you so much. Mom, thank you for putting up for the stupidness with me kicking the ball against the wall. But it gave me a life that it paid a lot of bills, and it took me around the world and gave me the it gave me the opportunity to learn about myself a lot. Yeah, Derek El Pibe Valderrama. That was the nickname. Um, I want to thank my brother for being a leveling stance for me. Um, there's times when you end up a little bit over anxious and paying attention to the wrong things, and my brother and my sister actually give me the chance to bring it back down and come back to earth. So Sharon and Derek, thank you. the Wills clan in Trinidad and the Wills clan in England. I know some of you probably watching. I don't know. I can't see. My phone pretty much dead. Um, I appreciate my family more than anything else, and it's the only reason I ended up in Florida is my family, from the Encarnaciones, the Mendez, the Willses, my cousins, the Rodriguezes, them in Fajardo and in St. Croix. Another legend that you should probably speak to is Magic. Magic is a cyclist from home from St. Croix.
Okay, Magic.
Yeah, I'll give you his full name later. Miguel Cruz, I believe, is his name.
Okay.
Imagine that, Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
I want to also make sure that my friends like Mark Anderson and Raphael Santini and them. Raphael's father passed away the other day, and
Condolences to his family.
that's my partner from the Hugo days, because they came to St. Joseph after Hugo,
Okay.
because Central was still closed for a while. So Miss Santini and them were a great addition to the St. Joseph family. um, I want Saint Louis, Jameson Saint Louis, if he is listening, I don't know. I want him to understand that he is the only one that could stop himself from accomplishing what he wants to do in the soccer world with the skill. It just takes a little bit of patience. You're gonna get where you want to get. Just take your time and learn what you can from the situation you're in right now. COVID hurt a lot of my youngsters from home, and that's understandable. But don't use it as a crutch. Use it as a propellant to move to the next level and get yourself where you want to get. Life is short, but your soccer life and your sports life is even shorter.
Shooter. Yeah.
So make sure you use everything to your advantage that you have in front of you now. Thanks, Mumba, for I know Derek probably threw it in front of you about other sports, but thanks for inviting me to talk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I might have more to say, and I'm actually gonna end up doing some things that I'm gonna put in front of you and Tegan in the future, but I have to work on it a little bit.
We love
Um,
we definitely love to have you back. I would definitely like to have you back on when Tegan is on, just because you have a rich history with his family.
I wanna hear why he used to roll down that hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate the stories. I appreciate people from home sharing. Sharing is always the best thing, man. But not for nothing, you guys, you put a great platform together, and it is nothing but love. Nothing but love when it comes from St. Croix. You in Jacksonville, I've been up there a couple of times. Didn't even know you was up there.
Yeah, Orlando. Pang,
Oh, you
Pang is
know,
in Jacksonville. Yeah, Pang
Pang
is
is
in
in
Jackson. Yeah,
Jacksonville.
Pang is
All right.
Jackson. Yeah.
Man, you down the road. We
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah. Yeah, we
but
only come on, we close.
but
Yeah.
and the coaches from the youth levels in St. Croix and St. Thomas, Linebaugh and the guys from St. Croix. I want them to understand that they have the power to bring the groups together. Just make sure that you're not getting in each other's way, because it's going to hurt you in the long run. They have a great product. They put together a nice little soccer field in St. Croix now. Now
Yeah.
it's time to build out from there and make satellite complexes and get things together. We have the enlightenment now, and you have the information that you need. Just time to use it in the right method.
Well said, man. Well said. I was thinking about this because I was like I'm in so in awe with your story and just talking about soccer, because I watch soccer, not that much.
Yeah.
Usually, with the World Cup, and then when Manchester, Liverpool, and some of the other teams is playing on ESPN, you
Mhm.
kind of watch it, kind of kill time and watch it.
Right.
And I was listening to you talk about the sport. Do you think soccer is the sport that is most closest to art?
It depends on the sport and the athlete. I think every sport has that artistic interpretation. Um, I think a basketball player with the knowledge has the ability to paint their own story in a game like Michael Jordan. I
Okay,
think LeBron James does an excellent job when it comes to showing the prowess. I mean,
okay, I got you.
the leadership have a little bit of work that needs to be done, but the prowess of the game is there. And you could see the man want to roar when he playing a basketball game. When I watch a soccer player like Messi, the
Yeah,
art is there.
I got you. Okay,
When you look at my team, when you look at Liverpool, take a look at the defensive line. That defensive line could pass better than most midfield teams in any professional league. In Manchester United, they have a fella there called Bruno Fernandes, who is an artistic player. You watch him, and he could paint the ball on a man foot in front of the goal, and the goal's gonna score. It all depends on the athlete and what they want to do with the game. I personally think Saka could be the most artistic because different positions have different messages to give. But I think every sport is art in its own form.
okay. Way you explain it, I agree. The way how you explain it. No, I have a question. I just got this question because you said Messi.
Mm.
And which okay, you personally, which soccer player is the best soccer player right now today in the world? Your opinion. If any of those soccer players end up watching this, do not kill my boy Hayden. Okay, it's just his
Okay,
opinion. That's
so
it.
let's just go the last 15 years.
Okay.
I'll just stay with the last 15 years, and I would say with the body of work put together, it's always gonna be they're always gonna say Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, right?
Yeah.
My whole thing is Cristiano Ronaldo is a great individual soccer player. He's excellent. He's a specimen. If you want to create a soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo is a good place to start and look at. Now, the mentality of the soccer player is more important than anything to me. Messi, to me, is a number 10, which is the center midfielder playing in the front of the field. Messi is a more complete player to me than Cristiano Ronaldo. Now Cristiano Ronaldo is getting to that level, but that's because he getting older and have to distribute the ball more,
Okay.
right? But I would always go with Messi in front of Cristiano Ronaldo just because of the amount of the impact that he has had with other what's that? He better not say those Liverpool players.
Yeah.
Derek, stop it. But that's between those two, I'll always go with Messi. Right now, right now, the person that I think is the best soccer player in the world is a defender. I'm sorry, Derek, it's a Liverpool defender. It's Virgil van Dijk. And VVD is incredible. He's a complete player. He's mental, he's physical, and he is very, very technical. So I thought he got robbed last year when they gave the Ballon d'Or to Messi,
Yeah.
but that's just how life is. The European clubs, the European Union doesn't like Liverpool to begin with because of past history, because we had the hooligans incidents back in the early 80s and stuff like that that kind of hurt situations for us. But I think Virgil is one of the best soccer players that I have ever seen in the last 5 years right now.
So that's who it is, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Oh,
looking out for him.
you want a good player to look up to right now that's coming up is Jadon Sancho. That I think he's gonna. Who did he say he was ended up playing? Bayern Munich. They have a kid Davies that we saw here play against the Virgin Islands from Canada. He plays for Bayern Munich too.
Hmm.
And then there's another player for who is it? Oh my god, he was playing for Dortmund, but I think he left. He's different. Mane is good, Derek, but Mane is still a scorer. I'm talking about complete players. Yeah, Mane could bring the ball in from the outside, but Virgil is the best player on Liverpool, hands down. Um, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
Pretty much it.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a question here. I think a pretty good question.
Hmm.
Do you have an opinion on men U.S. soccer team being paid more than the women, although the women are more successful?
I don't. When it comes to the pay structure, I struggle with it. Um, I still think the women should get compensated for being the best team in the world. I really do. Um, I think the men's team has left a lot to be desired over the last 15 to 20 years, and they're getting paid too much. Is either you bring the women's salary up or you bring the man's salary down to match, because the women have gone out and consistently outperformed the rest of the world when the men have not. Even look what happened the last time. They didn't even make the stupid World Cup
Yeah, they didn't qualify.
because of stupid decisions.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
No, don't. They shouldn't. If you're gonna continue paying them, you pay them less if you don't want to pay the women more, and you bring the structure together. And then when they become the world dominance, then I don't have a problem. But then you go on, you look at Brazil. What did Brazil just do? Brazil is paying women the same as they're paying the men.
That's true. You're right, man. I agree with that
So
100%.
that's how it is.
Another question.
Mhm.
Who is a future? Who is the future of soccer, or who should we be watching playing? I know you just mentioned that we should be watching.
Jaden Sancho and Davies.
Yeah. Is anybody else?
Christian
Anybody?
Pulisic, Christian Pulisic that plays for Chelsea is one of the best American players. I think he's better than Landon Donovan ever was. Um, Let me think. There was one other player. What is his name, man? Oh my God, it escapes me. But it's a young guy in Dortmund, and I can't remember his name. There is a, what do you call it? There is a player for, I think Derek. I think his name is Williams, that plays for Manchester United. That's a real nice talent as well. And Manchester City has a guy called Fondo that when he played against Liverpool earlier this year, he was the problem person out of all them $1 million, super $1 million athletes in Manchester City. Which
Oh,
which which answer? Which answer I need a bullet
he
for?
deserve a bullet for the answer. I guess the answer with the women's. We talk
Oh
about the salary. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't. Tegan gonna do the bullet. That's the Tegan sound effect. I'm working on getting a soundboard program on my
no.
computer so we could do
Let
all
me
kinds
tell
of sound
let me
effects.
tell you something. You know what I used to do? I used to do this with my young players. I used to make them sit down and watch the girls practice, because the girls they had a lot more, what do you call it, technically sound skills than the boys did, because the
Yeah.
boys were like a bunch of rats on crack running all over the place, kicking the ball all stupid and stuff. Yes, Brandon Williams, that's it. But the girls game, I we took my son to go and my son and some friends and my cousin Derek had get us tickets to go and see the women team play against England. And I think that's one of the soccer games I have enjoyed more than any game in a long time. And I have seen some professional games too. Now, like you saying, you are not a soccer person. If you ever get a chance to go and see a soccer game, you live in an Orlando City country, man. Go and watch a game. Go watch a game. Go if the U.S. national team is playing in your area, go watch a game. Watching a game live, a soccer game live, you will see how graceful and how powerful the game is than you would on TV. It does lose a lot on television because it does slow down the game a little bit, you know. But you have to look at it. You have to take a look at it live. And Orlando is a perfect place to be right now, my friend.
It's funny you said that because I've had a couple of times I was supposed to go to a soccer game and I didn't make it just because a lot of my coworkers they go to the soccer game, you
Yeah,
know. So no, definitely I gotta make a soccer game. Um, I was gonna ask you that. Have you ever been to any of the soccer games up in Orlando?
I don't like Orlando City.
Oh,
It's
oh,
no,
okay.
I was a Rowdies player, and we had a huge rivalry with them for years. And in recent history, Rowdies and Orlando City used to fight each other.
Oh, wow.
I man come over here and try and play in there, and then they knock them down outside the stadium and keep them out.
That's crazy.
But
Wow.
no, we have some bad blood between each other. I appreciate Orlando City and their team and stuff like that, but I'll go and watch a game. I'll go and watch a game just for the sake of going now because I think Trevor said he wanted to go and watch a game.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
no, man. I still think we deserve the team before Orlando. Just so
I heard the stadium is nice. I heard it's
nice.
real
Yeah,
nice. That's what I
very,
heard.
very nice.
Yeah. If
Very
I
nice.
go, I probably go watch the women's play though. You know.
Take
So
take a look at it, man.
yeah. Yeah.
It's a good product. It's a really good product.
So is there anything you wanted to talk about or touch on? You know that we haven't touched on.
Hmm. I don't think so right now, man. I mean, what? Oh, wow. Okay, that's we've been running 3 hours for real.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it. Like
I,
it's amazing. How
it's
quick.
good conversation, man.
Yeah,
Good
very good
conversation.
conversation, man. Very good. You
Um,
know.
no, man. The only thing I could say is I want my people home to keep themselves together, man. Just keep pushing each other forward and fix what you can fix. Whatever administration is in office right now, don't worry about political parties and none of that stuff. Is up to us to do what we need to do.
Yeah,
And without us, they don't have nothing anyway. So we gotta
that's
take
true.
care of ours.
That's true.
Yeah, I just keep being real, keep being Crucian. I know they try and shut down the horse race them down by Williams Delight and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
crazy.
And that's rough, but you know what? In the end, we're gonna all come out on top and we're gonna find the right thing to do for the kids in the area, you know.
Yeah,
That's just the truth of saying correct.
yeah,
I mean, you look over the years and you look from Hugo to Maria. It's like what somebody tell me the other day. I'm gonna put that gonna be one of my chapters. From Hugo to Maria, we went through so much hell sometimes and still end up on top and still come out looking good. We could
that's
keep
true.
doing that. We could keep doing that.
It's true. Once we stick
Yeah,
together.
precisely.
Yeah. Talking to you tonight, I came up with an idea. Well,
Listen,
Dwayne said I shall have you and Rico come on together. And when you said that, something clicked in my mind where because you're episode 30, and
mhm,
I would like to like eventually do something where because I think I could have up to 10 people at a
right.
time on this. So I would probably do it by 8, by 7, including the 3 guests, myself, Tegan, not guests, but the host, myself, Tegan and Pang,
Right.
where you know, 7 at a time, and we could each that we have had on guests that we have had on where
Right.
they kind of just let's talk about reflecting on their episode, and everybody kind of communicate with each other and everything, etc., or what they saw from the other episodes or something they wanted to mention that they didn't mention,
Hmm.
etc. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like
Hmm.
it's kind of like a reunion in a way.
Yeah.
But having you guys communicate with one another,
Like a
and
forum.
yeah, like a forum, yeah,
Mm.
and we just talk about stuff, etc., from the episodes or what they liked, etc. Or maybe if one of them saw your episode, what they liked about your episode, or
Right.
or maybe you was at this place at this point of time when they was at that place, etc.,
You
and you guys
never
didn't
know.
know. Yeah,
So
just something
check
like that.
check this out. Midre. So me and Midre played baseball around the same time, right? But
Yeah,
Midre ended up
true.
in Buffalo because he was in a Pirates organization. Because I believe the Bisons was the farm system for the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was coming into the league, and I
Okay.
think he was playing ball there while I was there. And somebody said, "You from St. Croix?" I was like, "Yeah, they have some guy," and I think it was him that was up there at the time.
So yeah, it's probably, yeah, it had to be
Yeah,
him probably.
yeah, I think it
The
was Midre.
Bisons, yeah. Yeah, like your brother saw, sports knowledge panel. Yeah, a sports knowledge panel.
Mhm.
So I think that'd be pretty cool. I talked to my fellow guys, my brothers, Tegan and Pam.
You should drag that SPS team together and have them come on and make some noise because that man is crazy, man.
I would like to do that. I would definitely like to do that. I would definitely like to have like a reunion with all the different little league teams, the
Mhm.
ESPS, Dusters, Angels, Reds, Caribs, you know, Dusters.
That would be
I
cool.
think, yeah, it'd be cool, man. It'd definitely be cool, man. I think it's a lot that we could do with the platform and stuff like that, and it's just all about reminiscing and sharing stories, and just showing the public how it was growing up, and the importance of sports, and they don't. A lot of people don't realize how many people played sports. You know, how many
Yeah,
people play little league base, especially little league baseball. Like
yeah, man.
so many people.
And that's the thing, man. And St. Croix, I mean the Virgin Islands on a whole, you have so many athletes because we all used to participate when we were in high school, and back then you used to participate, and some people used to participate in church leagues and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
And that built a lot of the community and built up a lot of the talent that we had home. It's incredible the kind of talent that came out of St. Croix
it's
from
true.
the 80s and 90s, man. And I know the talent is still there now, man.
It's
I know
still there. Yeah.
I seen some kids that even though I see them on a soccer field, I know they could play a different sport and they could be a prowess in that sport because that's just the kind of athletes we have in St. Croix. And I believe in the athletes from St. Croix
It's
because
true.
I know I come out of there and there was better man than me that was left behind.
Yeah.
So there's always the opportunity for something else, for someone else to come out. And that is really, really, really what has keep me hopeful for St. Croix and the Virgin Islands with regards to sports.
Yeah, that's true. I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way. When I was playing, I used to be saying the same, be like, man, I wasn't even the best. And
Mhm.
I was like, man, just imagine if this guy was here or this guy was here,
Yeah,
So
it's incredible, man. It's
yeah,
really incredible. It's just the what do you call it? Is that equation? The equation is timing, skill, and want. If you have
that's
the
a good one.
if you have the drive, you're gonna always be in the right place at the right time to
Yeah,
get what you need done. That's just how it is.
it's true. It's true. That's true, man. That's true. You know, man,
I appreciate, man. And
this was
I'm gonna tell
amazing,
you,
man.
I tell Tegan I'm mad with he that he wasn't here today, man. But nothing but respect, massive love, man, massive love.
Yeah,
I'm glad to have you guys have this forum, and I hope you continue, and just nothing but blessings, man. One love all the time.
yeah, man. Definitely, man. I appreciate it,
All
man.
right,
Definitely
appreciate you.
appreciate it.
Have a
Yeah,
good
man.
night. Enjoy your Labor Day.
Yeah,
Happy
man.
Labor Day, everybody.
Yeah, man. Happy Labor Day.
All right, man. Take
All right,
care.
man. Everyone, I'm gonna close out. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing some support to Hayden Wills. All his family, everybody, friends. Thanks for supporting, man. This was a great, amazing episode, man. Amazing. And then we just gonna continue doing what we're doing. Everybody have a good night. Everybody be safe on the Labor Day. If anybody going out, everybody just be
Be
safe.
careful.
People be
Yeah.
drinking. Yeah, so everybody be safe. Please be safe. Please be safe. Wednesday, 7 p.m. We have Rory Costello.
Mhm.
He'll be coming on. And then Sunday, September the 13th, we have Akeem Mountain Francis. So you guys, that's the next two guests. So everybody be safe. One love, much love to everybody. Hayden, thank you once again, man. I love you, my brother. I appreciate
Love you, man.
everything.
Keep safe.
Definitely, man. You too.
All right.
Everybody,
One
good
love.
night. One love.
Peace.